Scores. 5-3. It's in. Perfectly placed. It's second of the night.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Read off the street. One pass underneath. Extra gift by Payton. Now the corner. Here's Connor. It's good. Step Curry with a huge three. The Warriors take the lead back with 47 seconds left.
What a tremendous Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely day. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And of course, it is Thursday, the Daily Grand. Favorite game that has eluded me thus far, but hey, it's like a home run. You can't hit one if you don't take a swing. So $1,000 a day for 20 years. PlayAlberta.ca, which do the quick math, 7.2 schmil in your pocket. Or just $1,000 a day. Woo! Would that be nice? Very, very nice. Nice like the Edmonton Oilers to continue winning. And they are now within 2 points of the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the very tight Pacific Division. And they're 4 back of the Jets for first in the Western Conference. And it is going to be a great race down the stretch. Oilers are now 28-13-3. 28-10-3 in their last 41 games. So not bad. Not bad at all. But tonight, this is a tough test. If both teams were equally rested, it would be a heck of a game. The Avalanche and the Oilers since November 1st, Edmonton has the best record. Colorado has the fourth best record. Colorado ranks 5th in goals per game, 9th in goals against per game. The Oilers rank 1st in goals for, 5th in goals against. So they're both really good in every area. Now, the one area where they're better at than Colorado is they're good at scoring empty net goals. How about Rantanen has 13 empty net points. McKinnon has 12. Compare that to the Oilers' top dogs. Draisaitl has 3. McDavid has 0. A goose egg, which is kind of stunning to think he doesn't even have 1 empty net point. It's kind of crazy. But, him and Draisaitl obviously at 5-on-5 have been very productive as Draisaitl leads the league in 5-on-5 scoring. McDavid tied for second with Kucherov. But the big thing for the Oilers really here is, and I know some people are like, it doesn't matter. You're professionals. You're making millions. Well, your body doesn't know how much you're making. That's just a fact, right? It doesn't. Fatigue is what it is. So the Oilers, since beating since January 3rd, they beat the Ducks. They've flown 11,541 kilometers, going from Edmonton to Seattle to Boston to Pittsburgh to Chicago to Edmonton to Minnesota and into Denver early this morning. It is the most difficult travel stretch of the season for the Oilers. It's not done because they go to Vancouver on Saturday. So there's one thing. There's the kilometers they've traveled. Then it's second half of back-to-back. They were in Minnesota last night. It's their third game in 4 nights. And there's lots of studies done on this. That does matter, especially when you're playing a team of equal ability. Right? The teams are even, something can happen. Good teams beat a good team, whatever. And in the playoffs, that's why playoffs are so different, because the fatigue factor is really kind of canceled out. Now, unless I guess, you get deeper in the playoffs and you've played 7-game series and 7-game series and you get to the conference final and the other team's only played 4 or 5. Okay, it can help. But you get into opening round. The only extra travel that's different is the first flight from visitors city to the home city. That's it. Right after that, it's the same. We're playing the exact same schedule. No one's playing back-to-back that isn't playing back-to-back. No one's playing 3 and 4 that isn't. The other guy, it's even for everybody. In the regular season, it's not. It's very different at different times. And so you look at Edmonton and Colorado, and it's significantly different in those regards. So then you throw in the altitude factor. Denver, highest altitude in the NHL, 5,280 feet. Now, compare that to the other places they played. Boston, 330 feet. Seattle, 520. Chicago, 673. Minnesota 980. Pittsburgh 1371. Edmonton, in fact, is the closest at 2200. But that, the altitude does matter. Now, players describe it to me. It's like if you get caught on too long of a shift, that's where you notice it. And it just takes you a lot longer to recover. So that's the difference. So in the last 2 weeks, the Oilers have traveled 11,000 kilometers. Colorado's traveled 3,300. Significant difference. They haven't played, they've been home in Colorado since Sunday. Rested, they've played one game since Saturday. So they have a big advantage in rest and everything else, altitude. Now, does that guarantee a loss? No, there are certain games where I would look at this and say, schedule lost. Doesn't mean that they can't win. But when I look at a lot of things, I won't be surprised if tomorrow we're talking about an Oilers loss. And it's not one where you should freak out. Oh my God, they're not good as Colorado, because you got to look at you got to take a rational look, right? We learned that from Kevin Gilmore, right? You got it based on emotion and irrational thoughts. You got to dig down to the rational. So we'll get to all of that. We'll talk about McDavid's. Hey, it shouldn't be a suspension. It shouldn't be a fine, but it should have been a minor penalty. He definitely got away with one on Johansson for sure. As we go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's. And speaking of McDavid, right now you can get the Big Mac David at McDonald's, a double Big Mac or triple cheeseburger. If you're thinking, how about in honor of former Oiler Ryan McLeod getting his first career hat trick when he didn't even shoot the puck into the net, as that was an awarded goal. If you saw it, he went for the empty netter. Burns smashed his stick, gets a hat trick without shooting the puck into the net. Classic. As we are joined now, or Jeff Merrick's going to join us momentarily from the sheet. Find out where he is. We'll get to your text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. I know there's a lot of people, Johansson embellished. Now, he took the shot, and then, yes, his head went back, no question. But there was clearly a direct blow. He didn't return to the game. So, again, if we take it rationally, it's not a suspension. It's not a fine, but it should have been a 2-minute penalty. Don't put on your Oiler glasses, because if it was the other way around, and that was Connor Brown, as I'm trying to think of an equivalent player, Adam Henrique, on the receiving end of that, you wouldn't have liked it. But yes, Johansson takes it, and then the head back, I think it probably cost him getting a penalty, to be honest. I really do. So we'll see. Jeff Merrick from the sheet, dailyfacts.com, joins us. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad we're starting here. I just got into it with Zach Phillips. I don't really got into it, but it's the topic of the day. We're talking about the chicken wing, right, from last night on Marcus Johansson.
Yeah. Well,
so
did he even move his elbow that much?
Okay. So here's how I look at this entire thing. This was a missed minor penalty.
Exactly.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Like I understand that there are some people that want to make every elbow to the head a suspension or a fine. And I understand that, but as the rule book is written right now, like there is a thing. Well, first of all, just as a quick aside, Jason, have you ever, and for your audience as well, have you ever seen an elbowing call that wasn't an elbow to the head? Have you ever seen anyone get elbowed in the shoulder? Oh, he's going off to sit too far, or elbow in the chest? Elbowing, by its definition, is to the head. Okay? Yeah. And there is a rule in the rule book, elbowing, that is a 2-minute minor. Now, there are elbows and then there are elbows. Yep. And some elbows can rise to the level of, further penalties than a 2-minute minor. But again, like I asked the question, does every elbowing call need to be greeted with either a suspension or a fine? My NHL, no. I just look at that, Jason, last night and say they missed a minor penalty. Like he didn't like skate all the way. It was more reflexive than deliberate. Like he just kind of skated by him and tapped him in the chin. Was it a hit to the head? Yes, it was. And that's where that minor penalty comes from. Didn't come back to the game. Okay, well, that's fine. But still, you don't punish for what happened to the player. You address the infraction initially. And I just looked at it, just like I looked at Hartman on Draisaitl.
Yeah.
It's a minor penalty.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
it.
That's all it is.
It's like we're losing our minds over this with everybody. And it's not as if, I'm not sure if you made this point too, and I was just wrapping up the sheet a second ago. I'm not sure if you made this point too. This isn't an example of the NHL coddling a superstar or looking the other way. I mean, you and your audience know McDavid sat 2 for the lead he hit back in 2019.
Yeah.
So this isn't like, it's not like the DOPS is like staying away from Connor McDavid. So I don't know. To me, this one, I mean, everybody loses their mind because I get it. It's a hit to the head and what we know about concussions and CTE, etc. But missed minor. Am I off base here? Missed minor for me. That's it.
God, no. That's all it is. It's not even a fine. Like people want it. It's not a fine. No, like Kempy got fined because blatant slew foots. Like that's a missed call. That's a worse. Like slew foot to me.
That
and the Kempy one was way worse than the Hartman one.
Oh, Hartman is that's a trip. He just takes his skates out. To me, the one, and I'm glad you got it. Oh, okay, so you're getting me fired here. So I'm getting up about this one. I hate slew foots with a passion.
Oh, yeah.
That to me is one of the worst things you can do to anybody on the ice. Like I know like the cowbell is stupid and guys, I still don't know why when guys get cowbell, there's not like more significant penalties. And I guess sometimes they call it spearing and sit for 2. That's a bad one. But slew foots, like that's the one that really gets my back up as far as like, you know what, that should be more than just a minor penalty. Like slew foot to me is like, okay, you know what? That is like the dirtiest thing. One of the dirtiest things you can do out there. No one sees it coming. You're defenseless, and the repercussions could be devastating for a player. That is the one. That's the one that I look at and I say like, I got about zero time for slew foots. Zero time for slew foots.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Jeff Merrick joins us. Jeff, you look at around the league, and it's a big story, but the Avalanche, and the Oilers, and since Blackwood's come into Colorado, man, he's been unreal. He hasn't allowed he's made 11 starts. He hasn't allowed more than 2 goals in any of those games, and he's been very, very good. Has he solved the goaltending problems in Colorado? And do you think, like, if you look at that Avs lineup, what do you think they're looking to add before the deadline?
Oh, it's a great question. I still think they're looking to add a center. I really do. And I think that they're looking to add one more defenseman. But to the original point about Mackenzie Blackwood, I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and we sort of arrived at Kirill Marchenko as being the most improved player in the NHL this year. Like, I really wish that they had a most improved player award in the NHL, just like the NBA does. I think it'd be listen, awards are marketing anyhow. I think it'd be a great sort of nod at someone that's really stepped up their career. But I'll put Mackenzie Blackwood in there right away. Like, when you look at where Mackenzie Blackwood has come from, like, Jason, go back to COVID and the New Jersey Devils and all the acrimony that was built up between Mackenzie Blackwood, Tom Fitzgerald, and the New Jersey Devils. Like, was there not a part of you that said, this guy's throwing his career away here? Like, I don't know that this guy is going to get back to any type of, high-end NHL form. And I really got to commend him too. Like, he went through the New Jersey Devils experience, and the Devils, just to be blunt, the Devils were sick of him, and he was sick of the Devils. During COVID, that became a really, really bad fit and a bad combination. And of all places to go and find your game, San Jose, like, you're going to get a lot of action. You're going to get a lot of puck. Sometimes guys can wilt under that, like some tough seasons with some bad teams. But give it to him for finding his game again. And I don't want to be frivolous and just say, well, you know what, the Avalanche don't need, great goaltending. They can win cups with Darcy Kemper, etc. It doesn't matter who they have back there as long as you can, make the basic stops that they weren't getting from Georgiev. I think he's done more than just provided good goaltending. Like, I don't think he's risen to the occasion yet where we've seen him steal games, but we've seen him steal periods. We've seen him steal a couple of periods as well. And when you're the Colorado Avalanche and you're as highly skilled and finely tuned as they are, and you have a goaltender like that, right now, early returns look great. I'm not prepared to make up my final decision on whether Mackenzie Blackwood is the answer, but so far, this guy's jumped over every single hurdle that's been placed in front of him in Colorado and cleared it with a lot of room to spare. How about that?
Yeah. No, Marchenko's having an unreal season.
So good. $3 million,
dude.
2 more years.
And it's not just offense. I think like he's been on like he has a 71% goal for percentage. He's been on the ice for 48 goals for and only 19 goals against. Like we had our midseason rankings at Daily I put him as number 5.
Yeah.
I looked at all the numbers because like and even Draisaitl. Like I saw Dom's numbers at the Athletic and I look at them and I respect it. But he says if you're not on the ice for penalty kill, you can't be in there. And I'm like, okay, but look, Leon Draisaitl plays more 5-on-5 minutes than Sam Reinhart and Barkov play 5-on-5 and penalty kill combined. So does that 142 of shorthanded make them infinitely better for the Celtics?
Okay. This is the one that I always fight with internally. I understand that first of all, with the Selke, it seems as if this is the domain of the center because they have more responsibilities, take draws, all these types of things. Although I still maintain that it's a crime to hockey that Marian Hossa went his entire career and didn't win a Selke. Mark Stone's going to go through his entire career and not win a Selke. I feel bad for the Mikko Koivus of the world who just happened to be playing at a time where Patrice Bergeron owned the Selke and nobody else was going to come close to winning this thing. I really battle with this trophy. And it's my favorite trophy to think about. And these are my favorite types of players. I suspect they're yours as well. I don't know whether I should be looking at just purely the best defensive forward. And let's face it, this award was created for Bob Gainey. This award was like, Bob's so good at this one thing, shutting down the other team. Like there was nobody better. He did not care a lick about scoring goals. Like I remember having this conversation with Keith Acton. Keith just lives down the street from me. We were talking about the Montreal Canadiens team that he played on. He was like, Bob Gainey was just like, I don't care. I don't need to score. Like look at the murderers row we had. I just need to shut guys down. That is our job, period. And Woody played a lot with Bob Gainey. Like that's why they created the award. Just the guy that could shut down offense. Yeah. But now it's kind of morphed into, well, it's not for the best defensive forward. Now it's for the best two-way forward. So because of that, we've completely shut out one category of player. And it's almost as if, and maybe I overthink this one, Jason. I've been accused of that before. Maybe I overthink this one. But I always battle back and forth when I think about where my Selke vote's going to go. What am I using for my criteria? Is it just the best defensive forward? Or is it the best two-way player? You know, back when Elias Pettersson was with Calgary, it was, am I giving my vote to Michael Backlund here or Pettersson? Because they're both good defensive. Pettersson's a better 200-foot player, two-way player, but Backlund's a better, quote-unquote, defensive forward. I'm not sure where you land on this one, but those are some of the things that I think of when it comes to the Selke. And for those that want their perfect 200-foot player to be their Selke representative, I think for them, you have to get on the penalty kill. Like this was the conversation around Pavel Datsyuk so many years ago as well.
Yeah. Well, the reason I think the Selke morphed into difference is because back in Bob Gainey's day, the third line guys their job was to go up against Gretzky, Steve Kasper, Estética. Now, most coaches, our top guys, we play your top guys for not all, of course, but if you look at like it, you can go to Puck IQ and they do a great job of breaking down like who you're playing against and how many minutes you're playing against elite and middle. And so that's why I think it's more. Okay.
Can I throw another one out there just for, here we are on a Thursday afternoon having some giggles about trophies and talking about hockey. If they awarded a Selke trophy for defenders, for defensemen, you know who would get it this year? I mean, Jacob Slavin is Jacob Slavin. He's always fantastic. Have you seen what Jonas Siegenthaler is doing this year?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen what Siegenthaler and Kovacevic as a pair are doing this year? It's incredible. Like Simon Nemec the other day, in that European newspaper talked about, I'm not at the place where I have to ask for a trade right now, but we might be getting to that point. Like he can't get into the lineup because Kovacevic has been so good with Siegenthaler. Like one of the quietest stories around the NHL is the comeback of Siegenthaler and what he's been able to do defensively with this New Jersey Devils team. I know it always changes every year, but if we were awarding a Selke for Blue Liners, that's where my vote would go. Jonas Siegenthaler.
Yeah. No, he's played really well. It's been good. Jeff, as always, man, great stuff. Enjoy the game. How old is your son who's playing hockey?
So I got two. You want me to sound like a human being or a douchey hockey dad?
No. Well, how old are they?
I got a 2010 to 2012.
Okay.
So I got a soon to be 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. Or a
Okay,
13-year-old
nice.
and a 15-year-old soon to be. If you want to put it
Okay.
that way. But yeah, the douchey hockey dad comes out and says 2010, 2012.
Do they have hockey bags with wheels, Jeff?
No, you know why, Jason Gregor? I'm
Good.
glad you asked me.
Good.
Say this to anyone that you see with wheels on their bag. If your bag has wheels, you probably don't. That's what I say about anyone.
Oh.
Wheels are for bags when you're going through customs. Your
Ah.
hockey bag goes over your shoulder, son. That's where it belongs.
I'm with.
No
Takes too much
wheels.
room.
No
Takes up
wheels.
way too much room in the dressing room too. Like the can because your bag
100%.
goes straight and it's
Right.
up. Oh yeah, no, I don't like.
I'm with you. Again,
Yeah.
if your bag has wheels, you don't.
Ooh, that's a good line. I like it.
Keep
Jeffrey,
it.
great
Take
stuff,
it.
man. We'll chat with you next
Thanks,
Thursday.
bud. Be good. Talk
All right.
soon.
Jeff Merrick from The Sheet on dailyfaceoff.com. What say you, fans? If your bag has wheels, you don't. 833-401-1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you as we return. We got lots. We'll talk more on the orders. TR is going to join us. Landon Ferraro. We got Jesse Montano. Will give us the Avalanche side of things. Man, Blackwood has fit like a glove in Colorado. And hey, how about Calvin Pickard? We'll talk about him next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motosports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
It's a new year, and the Brick is clearing out their old inventory. Friday to Monday, they're blowing out furniture for up to 70% off the original price, with in-stock items ready to go and additional unadvertised discounts. Check out your nearest Brick location to find mattresses starting at $149, fabric beds starting at $199, gaming chairs starting at $119, and home decor and pillows from just $15, with more deals in every department. Plus, take 4 years to pay with no interest. Financing OAC. Exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
Elevate your game with the Basketball Show, hosted by me, Paul Sir. Tune in Saturday mornings at 10 for expert insights, exclusive interviews, and the latest hoops action. It happens right here on Sports 1440.
Miss golf during the off-season? Of course you do. So head to the Leduc Golf Club and try their state-of-the-art golf simulators. Perfect your swing. Enjoy delicious food and beverages, and even book a lesson with one of the Leduc Golf Club pros. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or just starting, the Leduc Golf Club simulators offer a great way to keep your game sharp any time of the year. Call or visit the Leduc Golf Club today to book your spot and swing into action all year round.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
225. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday. It is, of course, you know what? If you're looking from a sheer entertainment point of view, tonight's Oilers-Avs game, it should have a lot of it. There's only 6 players in the NHL who have 60 points. 4 of them are on the ice tonight. McKinnon, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Rantanen. The 2 Avs guys have combined for 130. What is that? 131 points, and the Oilers 2 have combined for 127 so far. Not bad. Now McDavid's missed a few games, so that probably be pretty even. I broke it down at OilersNation.com. I went through a lot of things. When McDavid and Draisaitl are on the ice with the Oilers' top D pair as well, and Bouchard and Ekholm, what do they do? What do the Avs do when they're on the ice? McKinnon, Rantanen with Taves and Makar. What do they do when it's just one of them with those guys? What do they do when it's just McKinnon by himself, Rantanen by himself? That's where Draisaitl really stands out. If you go to look at the numbers of the 4 big guns, it has been. So if you look at it, Rantanen, McKinnon with Makar and Taves, they played 294 minutes together, and they've outscored the opponents 11-10. The Oilers' top of McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, and Ekholm, they've only played 163 minutes together. Even in Colorado this year, McKinnon and Rantanen aren't playing as much together. Rantanen's going to be centering the second line tonight. Now, they still play some minutes together, just like McDavid and Draisaitl. But we could see all 4 of them on their own line to start tonight's game, which would be fun. But in 163 minutes, 16-5, they've been dominant, no question. So here's the difference. So McDavid, when he doesn't play without Draisaitl or Bouchard or Ekholm, he's only spent 19 minutes without one of those 3 on the ice. Draisaitl has played 334 minutes without McDavid, Bouchard, or Ekholm. And he's outscored the opposition 13-6. Nathan McKinnon has only played 58 minutes solo, right, without Rantanen, Makar, or Taves. He's outscored the opponents 5-2. And Rantanen has played 98 minutes without the other 3, and he's outscored them being outscored 6-4. So, that's a big difference. McDavid, 19 minutes by himself, because Bouchard and Ekholm, they like to play him a lot with McDavid. Makar and Taves, one of them is playing a lot with McKinnon, and even Rantanen. So, yeah, but there is the big difference. Is McKinnon 58 minutes solo, Rantanen 98 minutes solo, McDavid 19 minutes solo, Draisaitl 334. Anybody out there who doesn't think Draisaitl has been the Oilers' best player this year, not paying attention. Now, that being said, last night, what a goal by Connor McDavid. And that, his second goal, first of all, Calvin Pickard, what a save at the other end. Right? Because I've heard, the Oilers goalies never make a big save. The last 2 games, hello. What about the 2-on-0 Connor Halley? You don't see a 2-on-0 very often, and Pickard stoned them on that one. Then he made a really good save that led to the rebound goes out. McDavid picks it up, boom, skates down the ice. Great shot from a sharp angle is Gustafsson, because the goalies now, they go down a little bit earlier. You're kind of like, why is the goalie going down there? Right? That's just the style they play. They play the odds. And the elite players will hit that small little gap. It's not very big. I'd say probably 95% of the league can't make that shot. But McDavid did at that moment, and that became the insurance goal for the Oilers. But, I know Calvin Pickard, people will look at 9-12 save. I thought Calvin Pickard played really well and made some huge stops.
Yeah, getting the save when you need it. And that's kind of what I thought at the start of the year. They maybe weren't getting that crucial save when it was needed, but they have as of late. The goaltending's been fine. And just, I'll got to admit this one, Gregor. I mentioned on Fantasy Frenzy, when Connor McDavid held onto the puck, for a brief second, I said to myself, what are you doing? And then he puts it in just the smallest of margins to extend the Oilers' lead. That's why he's the best player in the world, and I'm watching from the couch. Just a ridiculous shot to score that one there.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I just texted my wife, who's at Sport Check, to tell her to get a new bag for my 7-year-old. She asked why. I said, if your bag has wheels, you don't. That's such a good line. Oh, I love, but I do, I loathe the hockey bag with wheels. Ugh, I hate it. And maybe some of you don't realize just the chaos it causes in the room. Just it takes up way too much room. You got to put it away. You can't, you know what? When the kids are dressed and they want to slide their bag under, the bench can't do it. Like, yeah, it's not good.
How many kids on your team have it?
Ooh, you know what? I'm not sure anybody does it. Like, were you 13? I'm trying to go around. Like, I look at the kids' bags. I know most of them now because, you know, when I hang up the jersey, I just look at the bag. Okay, that's, you know, it's this guy, that's that guy. Maybe one now that you say it. I think there might be one. Funny enough.
You can't expose him. I was going to say, does he have wheels?
No, actually, I think he's our best skater. I don't know. Maybe he has. I got to look at his bag. I'm trying to think. There is one. Maybe it's not him. Maybe I'm thinking a different guy. So at most, there's one. At most, there's one now. So, you know what? It had, went through a phase and everyone's like, oh, this is great. Because, you know, naturally, human beings are lazy. Let's call a spade here. A lot of us, like, no one loves working out. Some guy, I love going to the gym. Not every day you do. But you get there, right? Good for you. But we're inherently, you look at a lot of the inventions are so we do less work. Now, some of it is, hey, work smarter, not harder, to a point. But the wheel bag, can't stand it. My son really wanted one. I let him have it for like a month, and I'm like, oh, do you like this? Now I knew it was used, and it also had one of the bars broken. I'm not stupid, and so it was kind of slanting down. He had it for a month. No, I don't like it. Good. So. It's brutal for anybody who's coached. It takes way too much room in the room. So, but that line is a great line. I love it. Great line. Hey guys, Pickett's recovery from his own giveaway was magnificent. Hey, it doesn't matter what happened, Manny. All I know is he made a great save on the 2-on-0. No problem with it at all. And it's not always about how many goals you allow. It's do you make some big save at key moments? And I thought Pickett did that last night. He was good when he needed to be, and he was better than the goalie at the other end. And you don't have to, you don't have to pitch shutouts 2 out of 3 games by any stretch of the imagination. But I thought Pickard was fine. Now, Stu Skinner tonight. I think Stu Skinner is going to have to be great tonight. And maybe if the Oilers are going to win, they might have to steal one. Now, maybe Edmonton's going to surprise me, and they're going to have a lot of juice left. But I don't know, man. It is, you look at all the travel. They left here, Edmonton. You go to Seattle, to Boston, to Pittsburgh, to Chicago, back to Edmonton, 1 game, out to Minnesota, into Colorado. It's a 3rd game in 4 nights. It's the second half of back-to-back. And Minnie to Colorado is like a 2.5-hour flight. It's not short for when you're thinking, back-to-back. And by the time you get in, the only benefit was they were coming from east to west. So they gain an hour, right, in the time. So that was the only benefit. And it'll be tough. Colorado's rested. And now we got text. Hey, Gregor, didn't they beat Colorado the last time on a back-to-back? You are correct. Here's the difference. When the Oilers played Colorado on that back-to-back and they won 4-1 after beating Utah 4-3, Colorado also had played the night earlier in Dallas. Edmonton went Utah to Colorado. Colorado went Dallas to Colorado. They actually traveled farther. Plus, it was their 3rd game in 4 nights. And the Oilers had rested for 5 days and then played 2 games back-to-back. Right. So it's not like fatigue it's not so much the back-to-back. It's the cumulative factor of adding up and all this travel and 3 games in 4 days. Right. Those are the things you have to look at. Now, it doesn't mean Edmonton can't win, but it's just if they win tonight, I would argue, regardless of how they win the game, it could be an ugly game. But if they manage to win, I'm going to say it'd probably be their most impressive win. They're taking on a very good team that's way more rested than them. Then they throw in the altitude factor, and it's a legit factor. You can't deny it. Anybody who's ever been up to, you get to serious altitude, obviously makes a difference. But it's over 5,200 feet. Like, it's still 3,000 more than Edmonton. And, infinitely more than Boston and Pittsburgh and Chicago, et cetera. So I think it's definitely an issue for sure. So, hey, guys, is it okay to be a 40-year-old beer leaguer with wheels? Well, I guess just ask yourself, if my bag has wheels, do I? And if you're okay with that, then sure, nothing wrong with it. But even if you go into a men's league room and every guy's got his bag on wheels, like it's I don't know. Now, granted, I don't like clutter, so that's part of it. Like it just looks, I don't know, it's too busy. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. So not good. Hey, boys, Draisaitl is a driver, huge driver from Fuzzy. You're bang on, man. Bang on. Like, when I see anyone suggest that, tell me you don't watch the games if you list McDavid higher than Draisaitl in the Hart Trophy this year. Like, I'm sorry, it's not close. Every Oiler fan who has been the most consistent, who's been the most impactful player this year. It's not career. It's not who's the better player when it's all said and done. It's who's had the best 44 games to date. And it's Leon Draisaitl. It just is. Right? And that's a great thing for the Oilers. Now, we saw last night, they're down. The coach loads up McDavid and Draisaitl. And as the numbers I outlined, in limited minutes, when those two are with Bouchard and Ekholm, they're pretty damn good. Right? They've only played 163 minutes, the four of them, and they've got 16 goals. 16 goals in 163 minutes. Think about that. By the way, that's 5-on-5 time. 163 minutes. It's not even 3 full games. And they got 16 goals. So it's pretty impressive. When they're together, they're dynamite. No doubt about it. Now, we'll hear from Knobloch a little bit later on today. Of course, the Oilers traveled last night, and so they don't get in till they got in late, or I guess late last night, early this morning, depending on how you want to look at it. Hey, Gregor, you think there'll be any lineup changes from Doug? Well, if I go off of history of Chris Knobloch, well, number one, yes, Stuart Skinner's starting. That I know for sure. So Stuart Skinner's starting. Now, Jeff Skinner sat out 3 games. Now, the Oilers have 1. So do they keep him out? Maybe. Historically, Knobloch doesn't like guys sitting out that long. So could I see Jeff Skinner in and Corey Perry come out tonight? It's the second half of a back-to-back, 3rd game in 4 nights for an elder statesman. I could see it. Now, the one thing I hope I don't see is I don't want Noah Philp taken out of the lineup. Noah Philp only played 852, so fatigue is not a factor at all. You called him up, you want to give him a look. Right? Like, no offense, I know exactly what I get from Derek Ryan. I don't need to see Derek Ryan again tonight to be like, well, maybe. No, I know exactly what Derek Ryan is. Right? Really cerebral player, smart, good in faceoffs. Slowing down doesn't do a whole bunch elsewhere, but very reliable, smart player. Rarely's going to make a mistake. That's what he is. Noah Philp's a young guy, 26 years of age. This would be his 5th NHL game. Now, it's going to be in a tough environment. I want to see how he reacts. He was 4-1 in the dot last night. Really good. Now, he didn't go up against, dominant faceoff guys, but I don't care. He won his faceoffs, and that's what matters, right? You're 4-1. Good job, kid. And that's what you want. So, he went 2-0 against Goudreau in the draw, and he went 2-0 against Maranta Kuznetsov, and then was 0-1 versus Ben Jones. So, it's not like he's going up against top center iceman, but, tonight, you look at the bottom guys, Casey Middlestad's been around the league a long time. Let's see how he does in draws. Now, he's not a dominant faceoff guy, but he's a long-time NHLer. So I kind of want to see how he does in draws. Now, he wasn't on the penalty kill last night because he hasn't been here for a practice. So I'm guessing, do they practice tomorrow in Vancouver? Not when they have 3 games in 4 days, probably not. So, you might not see Phil until next Tuesday on the PK because the Oilers will fly home Saturday night. They'll have Sunday day off. And then Monday will be a full practice. And you could probably incorporate him in there. Now, he'll get film work and all that. And he knows how to kill penalties. I get it. But, I could see that's when we start to see Phil, at least on the 3rd unit to start. And then maybe work his way up. Just like Ty Emberson, right? Ty Emberson didn't start on the number 1 PK unit, but he worked his way up and has done very well. So I hope they keep Philp in again tonight. And I could see Stetcher in for Brown. Colorado's a quicker team. I think we'll see Stetcher tonight. Josh Brown last night, I had no problem with him. Gets an assist. It's the odd one where he gets an assist. And then if you watch, he skates off the ice. Emberson comes on. He's in the neutral. He did nothing on the play, and he gets the plus. Right? He gets the goal for it 5-on-5. So, every now and then some of those things, now maybe it'll work out the other way around. But, Josh Brown, hey, Josh Brown is, I root for guys who people want to slag for, it's not his fault. He is what he is. If the organization signed him for too long, I don't take it out on Josh Brown. Josh Brown just trying to stay in the league. He is what he is. He hasn't hurt the Oilers in the games he's played. I didn't notice him negatively really last night at all. So I don't have a problem with it, but I would play Troy Stetcher tonight. So that would make, to me, that's what I would look at for sure. I don't see, none of those guys getting in. But you never know. Maybe Knobloch's going to change his philosophy, but that's usually what it's been. Quick break. When we return, we will talk a lot more about the Edmonton Oilers. Got a lot of text flying. People are fired up today. I love it. Also, the John Reed tournament. I was down there sitting up because we're actually going to do our show from there tomorrow. And man, there was 4. Geez, I don't know how many kids they had, but the arena was packed. And like school busloads of kids. Obviously, the St. Albert team was playing. It's a tradition they do at the tournament on the Thursday, and lots of schools send the kids there. And man, it was. I think about. I gotta say, at least 400 or 500 kids, maybe more. Maybe close to 600, and they are screaming. Now you've been to hooky days at the Oil Kings game, yeah? It's a little bit bigger cavern. You get it to the Performance Center. There in Service Place, and they're all in there, and oh my goodness, I wish I would have had earplugs. It's fun though. I love to see the kids just enjoying it. And man, you're a kid on that team. You are fired up. That's probably the biggest crowd you've ever played in front of. It's awesome. So it's a great tournament. Lots of that John Reed. This is the 46th annual John Reed Memorial Tournament, which is great. It's obviously for a long time it was for Bantam AAA. Now it's for the U15 AAA teams, and it's a great tournament. Tons of scouts. Couldn't turn around without seeing a WHL scout there. So we'll actually have the GM of the Oil Kings. He was there, of course. Kurt Hill ran and chat with him for a bit. He'll be joining us live tomorrow from the John Reed tournament. So if you're planning on watching some good hockey, I highly recommend it. Man, that age group I find is fantastic. Like the energy is going. Obviously, there's some mistakes, but that makes the game more entertaining. It's fun to watch. Quick break. We'll get back to that and more. We got TR, Ferraro, Livingston, Montano, Speck, and more on a busy Thursday edition of the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get the daily grand today. You can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years, or just take the one-time $7.2 million.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
McDonald's presents a hockey showdown like never before. McDavid versus Matthew. There can only be one winner, competing for all the glory and all the prize. The new menu features top shelf plays like the Smoky Quarter Poppy and the Big Mac David, so everybody scores, with even more delicious options like the Spicy Junior Chirpy. Now that calls for a silly Sunday. The Showdown menu, now available at McDonald's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tank. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Get the latest intel before the next hockey game. It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show with Andrew Walker and Landon Ferraro. Before the game, join us all season long on Edmonton Sports Station, Sports 1440.
Papa John's would like to recognize all the amazing meat-savoring, veggie-loving, barbecue chicken-craving, pepperoni-popping, crust-dipping customers with an extra-large thank you. And to really show just how much they appreciate you, from January 13th to 19th, take 40% off any pizza at regular menu price. It's just their way of saying thanks for loving pizza as much as they do. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app and use promo code TY40. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Dr. Vance, does a hair transplant have to look like a hair transplant? There's a guy at work, his is totally obvious.
My goal is to give every one of my patients a full, natural-looking head of hair, so I stay up to date on the latest innovations. This is science, and more importantly, an art. I do things differently and move more hair than is normally done, resulting in a thicker look that is also more natural.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Whether it's towing your big toys or hauling gear for the job site, the Toyota Tundra handles it all without breaking a sweat. By the end, you'll be standing there wishing you could high-five that truck. That's what we call being Tundra-struck. It's time to be impressed. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2025 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $152 weekly for 60 months at 5.19% with $6,699 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's would like to say thanks to their pizza-loving customers. Take 40% off any pizza this week. Use code TY40 at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$247. Welcome back. Gregor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, as well as Instagram, sports1440.ca. For all of you listening on the app at Stingray or iHeartRadio, Rare Radio Player, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You take the show wherever you go. Get a lot of texts from people that are walking, listening to the show. Well, you know what? That's even better. Mix in a little exercise. Fantastic. Oh, like the one thing I like about walking in the winter when it's not like anytime when it's minus even 18 and warmer, it's fine. It's crisp. I find it automatically freshens you up. Like today, we had that little, what do they call it? A winter squall or something like that. It was like a very quick storm and it was kind of wet. So I was out there shoveling. It was a little bit heavy. And then I took a little stroll outside for 20 minutes. Man, I don't know, it just feels different. I like it. It's crisp. It's fresh. Wakes you up. Ready to roll. So for all the walkers and listeners, hope you're having a good walk right now. Hey, Gregor, NHL.com is reporting that Skinner, Stetcher, and Ryan are scratched. Well, they based that off of last night. I can tell you 100% that isn't accurate yet. So they just go off the lineups from the last game because, hey, I know the guys who write the articles. So because they don't know, they will stick with the previous night's roster until they find out around 6:15. But if you look at Chris Knobloch's past history on back-to-backs, I'd be stunned if all three guys who sat out last night are sitting out again tonight. So, hey, boys, you're right. It's the snow squall. I was out walking my dog when I hit it. It was a whiteout. It was. It comes down. It comes quick. And then, boom, it's gone. Hey, boys, I didn't see the Kempy slew foot. I was at the game. Having said that, Kempy doesn't seem like the slew foot type from Greater Mine. Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't care if you're a slew foot type or not. If you commit the slew foot, it's a slew foot. In a discussion, it's a slew foot. He got fined $5,000. And the one, Hartman's not a slew foot. I saw people that's not a slew foot. Now, their skates collided, yes. But a slew foot, everybody knows what it is. You slide your leg, right? Instead of tripping it with your stick, you're tripping it with your leg. And it's sliding. I didn't think Hartman slew footed Draisaitl last night. My own opinion, I didn't see that as a slew foot. But the Kempe one was clear. That should have been a penalty. Just like McDavid's elbow on Johansson should have been a penalty. It's not a suspension. As Jeff Merrick reminded us, every elbow is to the head. You don't get an elbow. Oh, look at this guy. Elbowed him in the solar plexus. Now, we're not wrestling. But think about it. Have you seen an elbowing call that isn't to a player's head? Like, do you see, like, the elbow him in the back? I guess you could. Does it get called? It's usually to the head of the face or the neck. Correct? When you think about it, it's true. And not everyone's suspendable because they're not. It's unfortunate for Johansson that he's out now. He does have concussion history, so you hope it's not another one for him. The one thing I will say, though, he gets hit, and you can watch the replay. The contact is made, and then it's the snapback. The force didn't cause a snapback. Now, and sometimes they'll say, and I remember, 7 or 8 years ago, we had a doctor talk about sometimes involved, like when you feel something, right? You get hit, and it's not always instant. So when you're in slow motion, the snapback looks way worse than in real time. It just does. If you watch the play in real time, I can see how an official, people are probably wondering, like, why is he down on the ice? Did you hear the explanation? The official thought it was his own stick. Now, where is the official situated on the ice? You got to remember the refs, and it's Connor McDavid, right? Like, he's in that situation. You're not probably even thinking about a guy delivering an elbow at that point, right? The game's super fast. Some calls are going to get missed. I thought it was a missed minor penalty, and that's it. It's not a suspension. To me, it's nothing else. So, hey, boys, I love playing minor hockey week. 40 years ago, it was awesome. Seemed magical. The finalists would play at the Agricom for bragging rights. It was a huge deal. Well, yeah, that's right? You put it in a big rink, and people would come. Oh, it's a big deal. I could see it, man. It's awesome. Well, nowadays, 40 years ago, there wasn't as many kids playing. There wasn't, like, when you won a tier, like, you're the only one who won the tier. Now, sometimes they have, like, multiple tiers within a tier, just because that's how it is, right? Because there's so many more teams. So, but it's still, I don't care. You're on the winning team. Kids get pretty fired up. And why not? Nothing wrong with it. It's a quick game. It's super fast, right? It's like 15 minutes run time. I think if you get to the final, it's a little bit longer. I think it's 20 minutes run time. Someone can correct me because I look at the ice slot. They add 15 minutes to it. So I'm going to guess it's 20 minutes, right? Which is fine. A little bit longer. Why not? So I like it. Hey, guys, my son played the John Reed a few years ago. Fantastic experience. Lindsay from Lloydminster. Yeah, and there's teams from all over. There's teams from the U.S. There's teams from B.C. There's lots of teams from Alberta. Association teams, academy teams, so they don't play each other very often. It's great. Right? And scouts love it because you're getting lots of really quality players together for one tournament. And so you're there all day. And WHL scouts are definitely watching for sure. And it's a lot of fun. Hey, boys, I'm looking at McDavid. Any guess? Do you think he ratchets it up in the second half? Well, I don't think he's turned it down per se. Like, I know, he's got 62 points in 41 games. Now, he's missed 3 games. So, the Oilers have played 44. So, sure, you could say he's on pace for 124, but he's not. He's on pace for 119 because he's missed 3 games. But would I be surprised to see McDavid average more points down the stretch? Historically, he always does. He's always scored more points in March than any other month of the season. His training, when some guys, maybe you get a little fatigued, McDavid doesn't. And that's his advantage. So I'll say McDavid gets over 120. I don't know. Is it going to be 125, 128? I don't know. Could he go nuclear and get 70 points in, what would that be? 70 points in 38 games? Is that what the Oilers have remaining? 38? Yeah. Sure. He could do it. It's just under 2 points a game. He's done that for a long time. But I'm going to say probably 120 to 125. Because keep in mind, depending on where the Oilers are at, does he sit out a game or two down the stretch? He could easily do it. Now, unlike last few years, the Oilers don't have a ridiculous schedule in April. Where, I think they finished with, what was it last year? I think they had like 6 games in the final 9 days. So they rested their guys. I could see him resting 1. I don't know if they'll rest 2. Like they did last year. It'll all be up to him. But he might rest 2 because he did it last year. They went to the Stanley Cup final. So clearly the rest was not a negative for Connor McDavid by any stretch of the imagination. So few other ones on the Oilers. Hey, guys, looking at how the Oilers are playing without a legit second pair right D, do you think it's that important? Or can they address other needs? From Frank. Yeah, I still think it's important, Frank. Right? Because lots of the games that you play in the regular season are against teams who aren't playoff teams. Right? The Oilers, there's going to be 16 teams they play that aren't playoff teams. Automatic. Right? Because they're a playoff team, so there'll be 15 other playoff teams. So more of the teams they play aren't playoff teams than playoff teams. Then, of those 15 playoff teams who are in, I'm going to say 4 or 5 of them aren't really Stanley Cup contenders. So now you've got like 20 teams that you play that aren't going to be close to the caliber of the teams that you have to beat to go to the Stanley Cup. And it's just different. So if you beat up on the bottom teams, great. You got to find a way to beat the good teams. And I think the Oilers will need an upgrade there. Now, is it John Klingberg? We're getting a lot of texts about John Klingberg. I'm leery of John Klingberg. This is what I am not, because I have people, he qualifies for a bonus laden contract. Okay. John Klingberg hasn't played in a year. The Edmonton Oilers went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final last year. They've got Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. They've been the best team in the NHL since November 1st. They've actually been the best team in the NHL since like October, I think it's 16th. So even farther back. They don't need to trip over themselves to get John Klingberg. If he wants to come here, now if it's just about the money, and he's like, yeah, well, Ottawa or Toronto, they're going to offer me bonuses and potential of $2 million on top of my base salary. Okay, great. I'm not doing it then. This guy's coming off of hip resurfacing surgery. I don't know how good he's going to be. I don't think he knows how good he's going to be. Now, everybody's going to think best case scenario. Yeah, well, we're going to look at the film of John Klingberg, and he plays really well. He does this, and this. And you're right, he does. He's very mobile. He moves the puck well. He can walk the blue line better than most. It's great. Man, if he's on a pair and Bouchard's on a pair, you got a really good puck-moving guys on each one. I get it. But can he play defense when it matters? Can he shut someone down? Because it can't just be about what happens when he doesn't have the puck, which is actually way more time in the game than when you have the puck. And more importantly, how mobile is he going to be? I don't know the answer. So do I have interest in John Klingberg? 100%. Do I have interest in John Klingberg at any price? No. And I would be leery of a bonus-laden contract that would have bonus overages that would limit their cap spend next year. Because every time you do that, it's a little bit harder to win, right? It's dead cap space. The Oilers already got $3 million. Like, think about it. They got $3 million this year in Connor Brown. Brutal. Now, if it's $500K, maybe. But the only bonuses I would do for him, I wouldn't do that garbage 10 games played thing. No, thanks. I would tie it in with what they had with Corey Perry. You're going to get $250,000, $500,000, stuff like that if we go deeper in the playoffs and you're playing at least 50% of the games. I could see that. I'm not giving him played 10 games to get $2 million garbage. Sorry. I don't think they need to do it. So, because I got to see him play. And I know you can't wait and bonus him afterwards, but I got to see him play. Coming up, Terry Ryan, the birthday boy, old fossil himself. TR will join us after a Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Get where you need to get this winter with the mid-winter tire clearance going on right now, where you can save up to 20% on all in-stock tires, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. The Edmonton Oilers in Colorado taking on the Avalanche. Puck drop 7:30. We've got pregame coverage for you right here on Sports 1440, getting going at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, Kings taking on the Canucks, Utah hosting the New York Rangers, Kraken in Winnipeg, Stars up against the Canadiens, the Preds hosting the Blackhawks, Flames take on the Blues, Islanders and Flyers, Sharks in Columbus, Panthers host the Red Wings, Ducks in Tampa, Sens up against the Caps, and the Maple Leafs meet the Devils. In the association tonight, should be a great one at 5:30 as the Thunder host the Cavaliers. Right now, OKC 1.5 point favorites. We also have the Suns taking on the Wiz, Pistons host the Pacers, Clippers in Portland, and the Kings up against the Rockets. Toronto Argonauts announced that they've signed linebacker Cameron Judge to a contract extension that'll run through the 2026 season. Judge 30 joined the Argos last Friday via trade from the Stampeders. And sad news today, as longtime Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away at the age of 90. Born and raised in Milwaukee, Uecker was a beloved member of the baseball community and a pillar of the sport in Wisconsin. He had broadcast Brewers games for the last 54 seasons and was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2003. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Terry Ryan. We'll also talk some Oilers with Sports 1443 and postgame analyst Landon Ferraro, and we'll speed things up in the Cantork Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Vimy and Donnan Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, attend the Vimy Open House on January 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. Beginner or experienced, this program nurtures and develops a student athlete's skills in a supportive environment. The Vimy Open House is a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 7 through 12 to see what Vimy Hockey and all of the other sport academies at Vimy have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsv.ca for more info.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
A Bedtime Story by Zachary Martin Hyman.
The hockey game's over. The Zamboni sleeps soon. I lay down in comfort, legacy heating my room. Good night to you, furnace, with your hot blower running. Good night to you, air vents, keeping the warm air coming. Good night to my payments that I won't see for 1 year. Good night to my legacy. Bedtime is near.
Warm winter nights. That's how you soothe your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Get the latest intel before the next hockey game. It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show with Andrew Walker and Landon Ferraro. Before the game, join us all season long on Edmonton Sports Station, Sports 1440.
Papa John's would like to recognize all the amazing meat-savoring, veggie-loving, barbecue chicken craving, pepperoni-popping, crust-dipping customers with an extra large thank you. And to really show just how much they appreciate you, from January 13th to 19th, take 40% off any pizza at regular menu price. It's just their way of saying thanks for loving pizza as much as they do. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app and use promo code TY40. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Mr. Rooter makes a prank phone call.
It's ringing.
Hello?
Hello there. Is your faucet running?
Yeah, actually it is. I have this really annoying drip.
Oh, you'll want to check for mineral buildup or corrosion. Otherwise, it's likely an defective gasket or O-ring. I got him good.
Mr. Rooter, you're the worst at this.
For lousy punchlines and immaculate water lines, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. eWell.ca is your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands with 24/7 ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at ewell.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:05. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Sports 1440. Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. I think we're 3-0. We had picked the orders yesterday in our $20 wager. We actually went with the orders minus 1.5. So they had to win by 2. Wish they did. And looking at it today, who do we like for our spot today? We'll look at different ones. Sometimes a player prop bet or just a straight up team. Sometimes you got to pick the underdog every now and then. Obviously, usually you get better odds with that. You got the Devils. How about the Leafs at home? Plus 209. They're the underdog. Straight up on home ice. Now, I know they've lost 3 in a row, but jeez. Seems like Ottawa's hosting Washington, and it's a pick 'em. They're exact even. The Devils are good. I don't think they're that good. Jeez. That's pretty good odds. Take the Maple Leafs on home ice, no less. I think I'm trying to look. Are they the only underdog on home ice tonight at PlayAlberta.ca? No, Utah is slightly over the Rangers. And then I guess Vancouver, although it's 1.9 to 1.90, 1.91, 1.90. So not much different, but geez, the Leafs. I think Cons, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go there. See, we're up. We're up now. We over the year, because of course we do it at the end of the month. We make a donation, whatever. It's nice. Some months it's not very much. Let's be honest, but we're still positive over the course of our 15 months. So that's good. So
no Tavares, no problem for you.
Yeah, that must be what's doing it, right? I don't know if it's that much. I think the Leafs players, you got the former coach coming in. The Leafs have been playing pretty good. I know they're on a little bit of a skid here, but I think they'll wake up. So I'm going to take them as it's just too good odds on home ice. Well, I'm taking them.
Just on the topic of the Leafs, we had the McDonald's burgers dropped off today.
Yeah.
The Matthews one.
They got who? Whoa! McDonald's dropped them off.
Yeah.
At what time? Where's mine?
Well, actually, they were dropped off at about 11:45.
But how many?
That I don't. They actually weren't for me.
Oh, okay.
We just benefited from being here.
Okay.
And Brandon had the Matthews one.
I'm going to talk to Joe. Joe, what the hell's going on, Joe?
I got the McDavid one, the double Big Mac thing.
Yeah,
delicious.
Well, now is it messy because it's a double? Is it double sauce?
Surprisingly, not messy.
Okay,
that might have been on me. I had a pretty good performance. Good grip to start off with, held it all in there.
Pretty good performance.
I mean, I've had bad ones where it's everywhere, but this time,
that is awesome.
The grip was good. I didn't put it down. I just focused in. Delicious.
It's I'm gonna start calling you Coop Dog over there. I'd like to thank myself. I still think that's one of the greatest speeches ever. And I'm sure Snoop Dogg might not have been the first, but I remember him doing it because it's true. You put in a lot of hard work. Right? Everybody thanks everybody else, and I get it. But I love it. He's like, I'd like to thank myself. Because, man, no one knows more than you how much work you put into it. I love it. Now, I wonder, has TR officially been inducted into the Newfoundland Hall of Fame? We'll find out as Terry Ryan joins us. Of course, former NHLer, 2-time author, host of Shore. And Shoresy's coming out, baby. 8 days. I think it's the 24th of January. Is it not? TR, is it the 24th?
It is. Yeah, really looking forward to it. There's been a lot of hype, obviously. I mean, that's true every time, but you gain some momentum. You gain a few more fans every time that something like this happens when you're on a show like this. And not only that, but I think we've always released either in the spring or the fall. This is interesting. This is right in the middle of the season. There's a lot happening, and I think we have more of the hockey community, more of their eyes than ever have been on us, and we're just going to land right smack dab in the middle of the season. So I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. So I got a few serious questions for you. First of all, happy belated birthday. I love that you went with the I don't work on my birthday strategy this year. It was awesome. What did you do for your birthday?
Well, I was on Monday, I was in Montreal. My birthday was Tuesday. I went to see Seinfeld, Jim Gaffigan and Seinfeld with my daughter and with Shorzy himself and his wife. It was awesome. It was honestly, I've got my take. it's a little longer than long-winded, so I think I might talk about it in the rant.
Okay.
But my whole take on it, just some things that are happening right before your eyes that you don't really ever think about. But I went with, like I said, it was a real thrill for my daughter. She loves Shoresy. She really looks up to Jared, and he's the one who took us with his wife. So we had a nice night out. We had a dinner with them, and we stayed a day, did some shopping. She was just absolutely pumped. But that was it. So my birthday, I was flying back. We were sitting on the runway in Toronto for 2 hours. I knew it would happen, so I got in here at around 8 or 9 o'clock, and a few of my buddies were downtown. We went down, and they treated me to a bite to eat. You know, we had a few drinks. It was a nice night. It was more about the next day and getting back. I've been traveling a lot. Now it's going to be time to go again soon, so I'm just enjoying the time that I have back here with not only my daughter and my mom and dad, but, you know, a lot of buddies and stuff that we hang out every week, you know?
Yeah. No, that's good. Now, when you play senior hockey, TR, do you have wheels on your bag?
Oh, goodness. No, I would never. Just, it's a wrong message to send, even if I needed them.
Well, because Jeff Merrick had a great line. If your bag has wheels, you don't.
Not bad. You know what? That could be a slogan for like one of these one of these bags that doesn't have any wheels. You know?
Oh, I love it. It's a classic line. So,
and are we getting to that point? Like, I don't know. Like, I go to the rink. I don't see what the kids are. I know the young ones have that, but like, if I go to a junior game, does anybody have wheels on their bag?
Oh God, no! I couldn't see it. Like, I'm in U13, and I think there might be, and I'm not even sure. There might be none, but there might be one on our team who has wheels, maybe. But no, I don't. I was at the John Reed tournament. I didn't see any kid wheeling his bag, and I can tell you that at the U15 tournament, there wasn't one. So no. They think when it's younger, the kids can't carry their bags, and I'm just like, no, that's us being soft parents. We all carried our bags.
It's all relative. They're only small. The gear is small.
Exactly. Like, you know, your equipment weighs nothing. Your skates are, you know, not even a size 1, for God's sakes. Like, you know what? You know what? You don't have to have huge gear. Like, figure it out. And, you know, if the bag's that heavy, well, mom or dad can transport. Like, I get to a certain rule with my son. I said, hey, if you want to play, you got to carry your bag. That was just how it is, right? Like, you get to U9, you're carrying your bag, right? Now, it's not like the parking lot. It's not like we're walking across Timbuktu, right? And I'm like, switch to your shoulder, switch to the other side. And guess what? They always do it. It's just, is it easier to carry their bag? Yes. We have to stop doing the easy thing.
Oh, yeah. Just, you know, there's just no need. It's just some things I prefer. I'm not a traditionalist in every sense of the word, but, you know, part of getting out to play hockey, you know, it's all fun to make the moves and everything, but, you know, part of it is facing adversity and getting out there and competing. And I think that starts with little things like it's even these days. Like, I used to enjoy putting on a suit, you know, even though it was just nice message. Nowadays, I know not as many, but it's nice to be uniform. You know, hey, everybody wear your tracksuit, or everybody. I just like those old school. There's a few of them. Hockey changes every day. I get it, and I welcome most of it. But some things I like to stay on the traditional side. And when it comes to hierarchy in a room and the leaders versus the rookies, and, you know, all that evolution that takes place, carrying your gear, picking up the pucks afterwards. I like that adversity / hierarchy, and I think it's part of. Now, I don't know everywhere else, but I think it's part of our Canadian heritage.
Yeah. A few other things, 833-401-1440. So Shoresy comes out on Thursday. Now, I know you can't give away too much stuff, but tease us. What should we expect for Shoresy fans in season 4?
Well, it's the off season, so don't expect a whole lot of hockey. Yeah, so right off the bat.
Are we going to see you training? Is this what we're going to see this year? Like, do we have like a montage? Are you running the stairs in Philadelphia here? Is that what we're seeing?
A la Rocky, you mean?
We're going to have like, you know, Rocky Ryan, and you're running up the stairs. You know, you're going to do on camera where it looks like you're doing 50 push-ups. Is that what we're going to see this year?
You might. Let's see. I can't say what happens, but you might see that, or lack of. Maybe we're not doing that enough, and they try to whip us back into shape.
Okay.
Or maybe we're running a hockey school. You never really know. Maybe there's kids that you know what? Maybe we can mentor them, or maybe, you know, we're partying with the fans. We just won. I think.
Yeah, that's true. It's a long.
I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen 3, right? But I mean.
So just wait a sec. Are one of you going to be the OV? of partiers for Shorzy?
One, many, who knows? Like I said, that could be part of it. What would you, if this is the off season and we just won, I think there might be elements of everything we're talking about. And a little birdie told me that it's, there is obviously, you're going to see some on ice, but there will be no competitive action. You know, this is midsummer.
So here's my take on it. Because hey, if we're talking about a hockey team and now it's season 4, so you've had 3 years together.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard from a casting standpoint. I think there needs to be a trade. Someone's a free agent. Someone's going somewhere else or on a different team. So they're still part of it, but it's different. At some point, that's got to happen. Because in hockey, the roster changes. Somebody's got to get shipped out here at some point, right? I don't know who it's going to be. But at some point, they're going to get traded to somebody else in the league, or maybe they're a free agent signing. Who knows? Maybe there's an offer sheet, TR. Maybe someone got a really good offer sheet in the offseason.
You, honestly, your speculation isn't totally outlandish. Let me say that there might even be some main characters that aren't even here this season, because maybe what you say is true. Maybe you'll go, where is so-and-so? Oh, they're not in this season, right? So there's a lot of, I don't want to say who or what or even if, but that could be the case. And there could be some choreographed dancing and some singing. Who knows? And I might have to sing a legendary Canadian song.
Oh, jeez.
Who knows?
You might
Ted
have
Hitchcock
to.
Might have to just test his pipes.
Like, how long have you been with? Like, did you mentioned? So you go to the show with Kelso, and I could just see the letters. Like TR. Anybody out there? TR's got pretty good penmanship. Right, he likes to write down a lot in his journal. I could just see him just sending a letter. Anonymous letter every day, writing it in different form, just to the producers of, guys, Terry Ryan, like we've seen him here. Loves karaoke. Got to see him singing out here, right? Just Terry, we're getting a lot of anonymous letters. Oh yeah, geez, who knows who's sending those?
Like I did in Tri-Cities, I sent in an anonymous letter in my draft year praising Terry Ryan, Damon Lankow, Brian Boucher, Boyd Olson, Zenith Kormaniski, a couple Edmonton guys, praising, and it ended up in there. I wrote.
Oh my God!
I wrote
to the Tri-City. You sent it to the team, or who'd you send it to?
I sent it to the Hockey News. Got published, man, in the Hockey News. I used to go in, and write Colgate. I remember just try Colgate toothpaste, and we had a crate sent. Oakley sunglasses. They sent us like 50 pairs of brand new Oakleys. Didn't think I was going to get that. Most people didn't get back to me. But what it was is, I graduated high school at 16, right? So then we'd have either you register for school, or they call it slugs. You got to go in and do something. So school would be like, say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. And then me and Boosh and, Lanks, Brian Marsh, another one. We'd all go in and we'd have nothing to do. Like we'd work out and everything. But I'd be writing these letters. And yeah, a couple are legendary. I have them at the house. Maxim magazine. I got in there with a poem about going on the road. I got in Rolling Stone and the Hockey News. The Hockey News was great, though. I said I was a 95-year-old rec hockey player just getting into it for the first time. Better late than never. I can't. Tri-Cities, it's such a great sport. And these kids, Ryan, Lankow, and Boucher, are so awesome. They're up for the NHL draft. If there's any scouts out there, you must know that these guys are great off the ice as well.
Yeah. I can't. You've written an anonymous letter about your own team and they published it. Well,
yeah,
it doesn't surprise me.
I used to do that all the time. I wrote, like I told you before, my dad and mom would make me read or write every night before I went to bed. It didn't matter if it was the Rolling Stone magazine. It wouldn't matter if I was writing a poem. I just, something, and I liked that they did it. I hated it at the time. But I wrote the Premier, remember reading real early on about like silly little local things. I remember Clyde Wells getting back to me and saying, look, that's a local issue. I'm glad you're interested. This is the way politics works. I was in grade 6. Wrote the Prime Minister. Yeah, I used to do that stuff. Who knows? It was before these days of social media, right? When there was a lot more time, it made more sense. Now it would just seem, what the hell are you doing writing the Hockey News? But, once upon a time.
Oh, that's, buddy, it's smart. Right? Hey, you don't graduate from high school at 16 years of age without having a little bit of sense. So
there you go.
That's great. We'll take a quick break. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. When we return, Landon Ferraro will join us as the Oilers take on the Avalanche. tonight in Colorado. And man, I think we're going to talk about the altitude, the challenges of the altitude. Third game in 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back. There's a lot of reasons why I look at this as a scheduled loss for the Oilers. Doesn't mean they will, but I won't be surprised if they lose. Tonight, we'll talk about all that with Landon next.
When you live in northern Alberta, you need a vehicle that is built for this climate. That's the all-new 2025 Jeep Compass, and you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Now, what can I say? It's a Jeep. It's a 4x4, so it's totally at home driving on snow and ice. And it's got some great standard features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, keyless entry, and heated front seats. As I said, northern Alberta. And all starting from just $34,900. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goals. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
McDonald's presents a hockey showdown like never before. McDavid versus Matthews. There can only be one winner, competing for all the glory and all the prize. The new menu features top shelf plays like the Smoky Quarter Poppy and the Big Mac David, so everybody scores, with even more delicious options like the Spicy Junior Chirpy. Now that calls for a silly Sunday. The Showdown menu, now available at McDonald's.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Get the latest intel before the next hockey game. It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show with Andrew Walker and Landon Ferraro. Before the game, join us all season long on Edmonton Sports Station, Sports 1440.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team at Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
323, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley on a lovely Thursday. It is game day. Oilers taking on the Colorado Avalanche tonight in Denver. Stuart Skinner taking on Blackwood. Blackwood has made 11 starts since being acquired and hasn't allowed 2 goals or more than 2 goals in any of the games. He has been excellent for the Colorado Avalanche. And so, hey, it'll be a tough test tonight. Then you throw in the travel, you throw in the altitude. And I think this is, if they win tonight, I will argue that I don't care in what fashion that they win, but if they somehow skate out of there with a win, I think it might be their most impressive victory of the season. As we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Building owners, You can earn a refundable federal tax rebate up to 30% off a solar project's capital cost. It's called the ITC. Learn more, how to set it up, how to qualify for it through actionelectrical.net. Former NHLer. He's, of course, the pre- and post-game analyst here on Sports 1440. Landon Ferraro joins us. Landon, welcome back to the show, man. I hope you're doing great. I want to ask you, about the altitude, because you haven't. Well, both teams are playing at it, but if you've lived there and you're there for a week, but then you fly in for one day, in your experience, what was the hardest part adjusting to the altitude in Colorado?
Your first shift when you got back to the bench and you're sitting there thinking you just played the entire game in 40 seconds. It's a really big change, but it's one of those that I learned from even just the second time playing there, try and get moving a little earlier than you normally do. Make sure your warm up, before on ice warm up, is a little more intense. So, just trying to elevate your heart rate and try and get your lungs working quicker than you normally would was the biggest change for me. But man, you do feel it, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then you got 3 games in 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back. Minnesota to Colorado is not an easy travel on back-to-back. And I look at this, and Colorado's well-rested. I do. When you have even teams, you flip the coin some nights on who's going to win. But then you throw in the factor of travel and fatigue and altitude and everything. The Oilers, if they win tonight, I think it's going to be very impressive. Can you describe the 3 and 4 and the second half of a back-to-back? And how sometimes you have what players like to call, we didn't have our legs in the first period, and sometimes by then it's too late. And you can tell yourself every day, hey, be ready. But then you get in the game and you just don't have it. Why?
I mean, you go through your whole game day routine and you can feel great. And then all of a sudden, you get into the first period and the other team's skating and you're like, I don't know what I can do to catch up. I just need to keep pushing my legs because they're just heavy right now. And the part that I think this doesn't play as big of a factor for the Oilers is the fact that they can actually play their 4 lines and they can play a more defensive game where, you saw it against LA where they can stay really tight checking. If they know that it's going to be, it's going to be a tough one for them tonight skating wise. Just, Colorado's fast and all the reasons you just said, but they've shown that they can really lock things down. And if they can do that for the first 10 minutes, first period, and give their own legs a chance to kind of get moving, it's going to give them, a really good chance to have a good outing tonight.
Landon, talking about shifting to the Oilers' wants and needs, do you think they should go after Klingberg?
I mean, honestly, to me, I think they need a really, they don't need a crazy puck-moving defenseman. I think for the Oilers and how they're built right now, another really just steady defenseman that can eat minutes and be counted on to, make just one pass and get the puck moving up the ice. I think someone with a bit more size and bite would be something that would be a little more useful for the Oilers.
And what do you think might happen with Skinner going forward?
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we watch the same games and we see how this team is played and deployed. I don't see a way forward with him in this lineup. He's someone that needs to be on the ice for a decent amount. He's not a guy that can jump in and play, small minutes here and there. He's someone that is a real touch and feel type player with the puck. He needs his touches. He needs to be feeling well. And I just don't see how they're going to get him rolling with how this team kind of is moved around and utilized up front. It's a tough spot. He needed to have a good start and just get himself rolling. He had opportunities with both the big guys and it wasn't quite right. If you're on the ice and you have 2 guys that really love to have the puck on their tape and one of them is Skinner and one of them is Draisaitl, who do you want to have that puck? And that's nothing against Skinner, but It's just where he is in the lineup, and it's tough, right? Like, you guys know, like, if you're not going to be scoring, you need to be able to provide something for your team. And if he's not putting the puck in the net and creating plays, like, where is he making your team better right now?
Yeah, it's a very valid one. It's only one game, and it was only 9 minutes. No, I shouldn't say only because he's played earlier, but if I'm Knobloch and they called up Noah Philp, I'm playing him again tonight for sure, right? It's a tough environment. It's second half of back-to-back. Maybe plays a little bit more, but if you're going to get a sense of who he is, I can't play Derek Ryan tonight. I might not play Derek Ryan for the next 10 games. Sucks for him, but if I, you know what, I got to see Noah Philp, so I'm definitely playing him tonight. What about you?
I'm with you 100%. Like, I think it's important that, like, if this is what they want to see, which is very evident, and they really should be taking a look at it, and a good long look, but it's, you know, it's like, it goes back to, it's different now. Like, guys get more of an opportunity for, like, what their skill set is. Like, before, you could be a massive scorer in the minors, and then when you get called up, you're playing fourth line right wing with a couple checkers. Like, it doesn't quite work, but you're putting him in a situation where, like, that's where he would be playing. It adds more size. But at the same time, like, it's a big difference, American League to NHL. Like, you need to give him multiple games in a row to see, one, let him build up to pace and get a little more comfortable again. But two, like, you have to see what the grind of the NHL, especially playing games like back-to-back with travel and playing against the best competition, you have to see how he handles it. And it's a perfect opportunity right now for them to do that.
When you look at Josh Brown, I know people, like, hey, they look at some of his analytics, like Josh Brown in the games he's played here recently, like, he's been fine. Like, I get he's limited. I know what he is. I know what he isn't. And he's obviously not the long-term solution, but, you know, I didn't mind Josh Brown's game last few games. Have you?
No, and I think you just said it best. Like, you know what you're getting. Like, there's no question mark to it. You know what his limitations are. You know what he is good at. So when you're putting him in this situation, like, and I believe we talked about it, you know, a while ago, the last time I was on here, but, like, as a coach, when you're able to put someone over the boards and know exactly what you're going to get out of them, it's a pretty good feeling, right? Like, even if you have a little bit better option, there's more upside on the player that you're making the decision against, Brown, who's going in, but they're a bit more of a wild card. Like, coaches are generally going to take the guy that they know what the play is going to be. And if he messes up, they generally know where the mess up's going to happen too. So it makes it a little bit easier as you're trying to put your pairs together, or where you're going to put them out in different situations. Like, you can try and safeguard them, much like they did with Emberson while he was trying to figure out what his role was and how he was going to play. And not saying that they're going to have a big of a jump as they have with Emberson and how he's played, but playing, you know, using them smartly and putting them in situations to succeed kind of catapulted him to where he is now.
TR?
I'm curious what both of you guys thought of the McDavid hit. Do you think he should have been suspended?
I wouldn't say suspended. I wouldn't have batted an eye with a bit of a fine either, though.
What do you think, Jace?
Well, definitely not a suspension. Like, you know, because then every elbowing penalty is a suspension.
That's what I said.
Because every elbowing penalty is usually to the person's head, face, or neck, right? That's just how it is. So it's unfortunate for sure. I don't doubt that. I think it was a minor penalty that was missed, but I don't even think it can be a fine because, like, it wasn't like I watched and if you watch the replay in real time, there's barely any movement. You watch it in super slow motion. Yeah, you look like, okay, but it's not like a chicken wing that raises 8 inches, right? Because the NHL's eliminated that. So I don't think it was, you know, it's an unfortunate outcome. He's not the first player. Unfortunately, Johansson has concussion issues. You know, he's placed on IR today. He clearly wasn't faking, but I will say this. I think the fact that he got hit and then did the big snapback, like the delayed snapback, that's probably why he didn't get the penalty, because I think the official thought maybe he was embellishing at that point.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there that it looked like a bit of a sell job because it was such a subtle thing. And, you know, watching it, I I think McDavid meant to chicken wing a little bit, but in no way am I saying he meant to put it in his head. Like, as he's making that drop, he sees that Johansson's going to jump around him. So he's just doing what every player in that situation would do, of just trying to get a little piece of him just to slow him down that half second, right? And it's Johansson jumps and he ends up going a bit lower, and now it's just kind of bad luck, right? Like, it's a quick moving game, and if you watch, especially in the two end zones, like when you're in the offensive side, like, there's so many times where there's little picks made and little things like that. This one just kind of connected a little wrong.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's it's an unfortunate inning, and that's going to happen sometimes, but it was definitely a missed penalty. I thought it was a missed minor call at that point. No, I don't think there's much debate about that. Like, that's, people, I barely hit him. Doesn't matter. It's like a high stick. You got to be in control of your stick. And if you're not in control of it and you just brazen on the guy's face, guess what? You get a penalty. So I wouldn't have had an issue if it was deemed a minor penalty at all. Looking at the matchup, Rantanen has been centering his own line lately, not 100% of the time, right? They play Rantanen and McKinnon, like, I think it was 3 minutes together, 5-on-5 last game. But there's a chance, the Oilers, we saw them have Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins switch in the game last night. Would you start tonight the way you ended, or because Rantanen and McKinnon center their own lines, would you center your own line with McDavid and Draisaitl?
I honestly, like, I'm a fan of this team basically starting every game with them separate. Like, unless they're starting for just the first shift to try and come out with a real bang. But I would start every game with them separate until you start to see where the game is going and whether you need to put them back together or not. Or can we keep them separate, keep their minutes a bit more manageable? This team switches and has their lines flowing through so much that it's not as big of a deal like it is for so many other teams that are like, they have their lines, and when they switch one winger to another line, like, that's big news. Well, that happens like 12 times a period for the Oilers. So just keep them separate. And if you need a little boost because you're not liking what you see, then you chuck them back together. Nugent Hopkins moves down to Arvidsson and Podkolzin like they were the other night, and that was they did well. So, like, you have so many options. That's just such a luxury for Knobloch to have.
Yeah, no question. I got a question from Dave on Minnesota's third goal. It's to the left of Pickard off the faceoff. Bouchard lines up on the hash marks because both the wingers, Hyman and Draisaitl, are lined up in front. And then Ekholm's lined up kind of, at the bottom of the circle almost. We see that from a lot of teams. Do you like that, or do you prefer your D-man on the hash marks on the middle of the ice and put the winger where Bouchard was? Landon, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I lost you for a second. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Did you hear the question about the lineup?
I heard. No, I didn't.
Okay,
Sorry.
So on the third goal, right off the face-off, McDavid's to the left of the goaltender. McDavid's in the draw. There's Draisaitl and Hyman lined up in the inner slot, right on the inside in front of the net. Bouchard, as the right defenseman, comes up on the hash marks, and then Ekholm is lined up where he's supposed to. Now, I know technically he's the right D, but I know they do that because they like to have guys in their forehand. But the texter is wondering, would you rather have the defenseman where Hyman and Draisaitl were, and then put the winger where Bouchard was? Does it matter to you?
I've always liked putting the D right up on, the forward on that inside hash with the other forward behind him with the D to your right.
Okay.
Just simply because now you're able to, that inside winger, you're pushing, like, you're trying to get to the back of the other team's center and keep your winger closed out. And if you do a good job, that gives the D all the time to come in and pick up that puck. And at that time, I don't know about UTR, but I'd rather my defenseman have that puck than me have it. So make it a little bit easier that way.
Especially at that, in that scenario, I would go about it exactly as you did. Are you saying, Jason, just get this right? Are you saying that one of those D is on the inside?
No. Bouchard was on the hash marks closest to the boards.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right? And then the two wingers are on the hash marks in the slot.
Yeah, I'd rather run some interference and have the D get it And then being the D has it now, we can break out and we can get all our ducks in a row. That's me. I prefer that.
And most teams line up that way. And I see the orders, like it was on the Bouchard was essentially as the left defenseman on that faceoff, right? And you have Echo and they switch it because they get the guys they feel they can get the puck on their forehand quicker. Because I've talked to Paul Coffey about that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'd have a decent idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, but that's the strategy that they use, right? It's like the one thing it's when they change. I don't know if you guys notice that when they change on the fly, the far side, like if you're the right defenseman, right, and now you're on the far side of the ice, and the left defenseman changes, the right guy comes on for the left. So when the tired right guy comes over, now you already have the right guy on the ice, and he doesn't have to go as far across. That's what the Oilers have been doing for years now. It's another kind of interesting thing and how they change on the fly.
Yeah, anytime you can make it a little bit easier for yourself on a change, especially when you know you're that far side, it always helps. Like, in Boston, we were in the second period. It was a little different in the second, but it was always center over first. Regardless of who came, the center always went over first. And it takes a bit to get used to, but then you start to realize, if we end up icing the puck, why do we want me out there that takes 6 draws a year instead of our actual center? But each team starts to find what works for them, and they start flowing through that way.
Yeah, for sure. Landon, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. We'll be listening in later on tonight with Walks.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. We'll chat later.
You betcha. There's Landon Ferraro. Quick text, and we'll get to Livingston. Hey, TR, the singer for Tool is a huge Letterkenny Shoresy fan. He even named his little Yorkie Shoresy. The cast got backstage access to the Tool show. Were you part of that from the Juice?
No, that was the Letterkenny crowd, right? I heard about that. No, I would have been, and if we ever get a chance to meet them, I'll be all over it. Yeah. I know that I knew he was a Shoresy fan because he sends some notes to the producers, and I think Jarrett knows him a little bit. Good point, though. And at some point, hopefully, mentioning that. So Dennis Shapovalov is a fan. He's got us VIPs now February 1st and 2nd to Davis Cup in Montreal. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, every once in a while you hear from these people, and hey, he's like, I'll give you guys tickets if you want to come. Myself and Freddie Waugh, Patrick's son, Frederick Waugh, who plays Delaney in the show. Everybody else is busy. I called him. I said, are you serious? What's that?
I didn't know that was Patrick Waugh's kid.
Yeah, and he's like a pretty decent actor. He's been in a few other things around Montreal. Bilingual, that really helps him.
Oh, God.
And so he's, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think you'll see him in a lot of things, not just hockey. He's a very committed, smart, hard worker that I think is a really good actor.
Awesome. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, speed things up. We also got more on the Oilers and the Avalanche later on. You got 4 of the league's top 5 scorers going at it tonight in McKinnon and Rantanen and McDavid and Draisaitl. From an entertainment factor, it could be really good. However, both teams are top 10 in the NHL in goals against for the last 2.5 months. So the big dogs might bark, but it might be pretty hard. We'll get to that and more. And we've also got Jesse Montana joining us, talking about the Avs side of things. The fact that Rantanen now and McKinnon, they've been centering their own lines. Is this going to be a long-term solution? We'll find that out and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously... The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
90 days? You're telling me I can buy a 2024 or 2025 Buick or GMC from Wolf GMC Buick and make no payments for 90 days? Whoa. And you're telling me there's more? It's the final days of GMC's employee pricing on remaining 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons? Clearly now is the time to buy a new vehicle. I'm heading to Wolf GMC Buick, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road. It's mere seconds east of the Anthony Henday. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
This year I can't decide what to work on for my New Year's resolution. See, my confidence, my appearance, or my general happiness.
Why not improve all 3 by finally addressing your hair loss?
The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.347. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We've been talking all hockey for a bit. We'll take a quick pause, and don't worry, we got lots more coming up as it's time to get into the racing report, brought to you by Can Torque. They offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order yours now at cantorque.com as Colin Livingston joins us once again. And geez, man, you're really into it, eh? You're loving the ongoing weekly race right now.
Well, I'm kind of torn. I'm still vested in this hockey bag subject.
Well, do you have wheels on your bag?
I don't really have a hockey bag, good. But my father-in-law was a coach for a long time, and there's like way back in the 80s and 90s, and he would watch parents carry the bag in for the kids.
Oh,
and he's a really well-spoken, really thoughtful guy, but he would basically say, like, if you're going to be carrying this kid's bag in, your kid's going to be sitting on the bench. Well, what do you like? If he doesn't have the energy to carry his own gear,
100%,
he doesn't have energy to play.
Yeah.
Well, but it's a heavy bag. He's going to be wearing all that gear in 20 minutes anyway. Like, if he can carry it on his body, he can carry it on his body. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So that,
very true.
But I'm also a little bit torn. I mean, I know we got to get to racing, but I golf. Like, it makes way more sense to put your golf bag on a trolley.
Yeah, but you're walking for like how many kilometers?
You are, but
Yeah.
it's the idea that, you're only getting from the parking lot to the locker room, but energy spent on something that doesn't get to the outcome of what you're trying to do is energy wasted.
Yeah, well, I would argue that part of the energy needed to carry a warm-up is very important in hockey. We do a warm-up before the game.
Sure.
So you got to warm up. And so you could argue that because most people, hey, you want to drive your kid to the front door, drop them off, they can carry their bag. Now you're taking even less. Like, you're not, like, it's not even 100-yard, maybe. Like, it might be a short par 3 at best.
Yeah.
Right? At best. So
See, I had to walk from home whenever I played hockey. So
well, there you go. So uphill both ways too. Right?
Well, that's the way Stony Plain's built.
So the Chili Bowl Nationals.
Yes.
This is like a 10-day event. Now, I'll be honest. I mean, 400 vehicles?
Yeah. As of Sunday, they had 390, and I haven't seen the updated registration, but they said that there were going to be more kind of filling in. So, just awesome. I mean, it started over a week ago with what they call the Tulsa Shootout, which is like kind of a warm-up.
It's just a good name. I don't even know what it's about, but I like it already.
Yeah. And then they get into this Chili Bowl National. So we talked a little bit about that last week, where it's inside an expo center, and they build this 1/4-mile dirt oval indoors where these lunatics, they go rip and run. And I'm loving it. When I get home, I open up my iPad, I've got my Flow Racing app, and I've actually been like a little kid watching my cartoons. I turn it on, I'll lay in bed, and I've been falling asleep, not because I'm not excited, but because, by
1
the
in
end
the
of
morning, you jabroni.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
So there's lots of terms for this. What's a diamond?
Okay, so these are things if people are going to watch, and even if you don't pay for the app, you can actually watch the highlights. They're delayed by a little bit, but everything gets thrown up on YouTube. Diamond is a means of getting into the corner. Now, you'll hear this in all forms of oval racing. Sometimes you want to sweep in and kind of maintain a consistent arc through the corner. But when you're maintaining an arc, you tend to be on the edge of traction. When you diamond the corner, for lack of a better term, you go in with more of a straight angle, kind of more to the middle of where the two corners meet, make a sharper turn. So you kind of overslow the car, make a sharp turn, and then you accelerate out more in a straight line. So these drivers, it's insane to watch how much car control they have and how many different lines and different ways they try and figure out to get around these tracks.
What about a slide job? Is that like is it like drifting in the race a bit?
Drifting wishes it was like this.
Drifting wishes was a slide job. Okay. What's
So
a slide job?
Slide job is driver will be running kind of up in the high line. Somebody will be following. They cut down underneath. And again, I'm using my hands, so YouTube will get this, but on the radio, not sure if they'll follow. They turn down with more speed.
Yep.
To where they start, when they accelerate, they naturally drift up to the outside wall. They'll slide up in front of the other car, kind of killing their momentum and hopefully be able to drive off.
So it's kind of like you cut them off. It's all legal. So let's say the guy does a slide job up. How do you counter that if you're the top guy?
That's the next term that you'll hear. And if you watch these
slide
things,
down,
the over under.
Over-under,
So he
okay.
pulled the slide job, and then Billy Dingle Nugget pulled the old over under, and he crossed him back up going into the corner.
What about a stagger?
Well, there's not a stagger. So stagger. Okay, do you have beverage in your glass right now?
Yeah, I have some water in it.
Okay, so if you like, that's a perfect example of stagger. That on the right side of an oval car,
okay,
they make the tires, like the tires are naturally bigger
on the right side of an oval car.
Correct.
How much bigger?
Can be like on a midget car or sprint car, it could be inches bigger.
Okay.
On like a Pinty's car, if we're lucky, we'll get an inch between the two, and then we can actually artificially increase that by putting a lot of air pressure in the right side or lower in the left. What that helps the car do is turn, because when you got
sense.
So if you put that glass down on the table and kind of roll it around, it's naturally going to turn.
Right.
Like if you put that on its side, and push
I see it. Yeah,
it's going to
naturally
turn.
the bottom will turn
Correct.
in. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
see.
that's what stagger is.
All right. Okay. Makes perfect sense. Okay. I like that. Now sandbag, this would be you basically.
Just because I look like I'm a sandbag. I
Well,
don't
it's basically it's sandbag. Anybody who's ever golfed knows what sandbag is, right? Because I think it's basically you're holding back what you're capable of, right?
Correct.
You're misleading people and thinking, oh, we're not very strong. And then all of a sudden, the last few laps, you crush it. Is that what it means?
Or through the event. So
Okay.
you go through, like in a conventional event, you know that you can qualify up front with only using 90% of your potential, and then everyone kind of overlooks you. Then all of a sudden you start, they used to do this in the series where if you were underperforming, you either got a power boost or the other teams got a bit of a handicap, so that they get their handicap, and then all of a sudden you show the true potential of what you've got and you just destroy them. And then the sanctioning body has to catch up.
Now, looking at, I want to switch over to NASCAR. And by the way, so everything gets going coming up. Now, what's the roar before the 24?
Okay, so now this is the IMSA series. So this is this weekend. This is
IMSA?
Yeah,
Okay.
IMSA, International.
Anytime you said that, I just thought of the imp in Lord of the Rings. Not Lord of the Rings, but Game of Thrones.
I don't watch any of that stuff.
Oh,
I don't.
buddy, you missed out.
If it's got a goblin or magic,
No. These are all humans there. But there's a few
okay.
dragons.
Yeah, but there's like magic rings and like spells and stuff. I
And
don't watch any of that.
But Game of Thrones, you'd actually probably like.
I've been told, but it's never
I
going to
think you'd like
happen.
it.
But so this weekend is the Roar Before the 24. This is the lead up. This is basically a day of testing and like mini events before next weekend's 24-hour race, the Rolex 24 at Daytona. So these are
They race for 24 hours?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's.
But you're like a team, I would assume, right? Like you race and then you race for what, like an hour or two, and then you get a break?
Yeah, they'll have up to 4 drivers on the team. But
and what are your intervals? Like, would you go an hour or two, or you go?
It depends. So there's teams that are made up of only professionals, and then there's teams that are made up of what are called gentleman drivers. They get ranked as either pro. I can't remember the ranking, but like a gold driver, silver, gentleman driver.
Yeah.
So in theory, I could go race. I pay my money to be a part of the team, and there are certain classes that have to have a gentleman driver as part of the group. Pro drivers can run longer stints and they can do double stints where the gentleman and the other, and you don't want the gentleman driver running all that much because they're nowhere near as competitive. But yeah, they run for 24 hours. So the crews are awake for 24. They're awake for way more than 24 hours. But they're at the track early, getting the car ready. The event starts. They don't, aside from nodding off for a couple minutes here and there while the car's on track, they're up for 30, 35 hours. Like it's insane. There'll be 4 different classes. So the differential, like the delta between, the fastest car and the slowest car, there could be 30 or 40 miles an hour difference at the top end. So
wow, that's a big difference.
This is like the spotters. And I say this as a spotter, I'm fairly biased, but I did this race with Alex 10, 12 years ago. It's the hardest race to spot. Like it's not even close.
Because you don't know, like normally hey, this guy's coming up, you think you got more time, and then maybe you have more time or you have less time depending.
That's part of it. But part of it is it's at night. So you're going 2 o'clock in the morning. You're trying to watch at Daytona. The back straightaway is 3/4 of a mile away from where you're watching.
How do you watch with what do you got, like night goggles on?
You could try, but the problem is there's lots of light in the infield. So that would blind.
Yes.
But you're trying to watch 2 cars where you only see the lights of the car and trying to determine who's inside, who's outside. When they're coming head on at some points in the track out of like turn 5, you see them coming towards you. It's actually brutal. And I remember doing a stint from like, I don't know, Alex did a 2.5 stint. And then I actually had to stick around for the next driver, Chris Cummins. And I started hallucinating. I'd been up for, I don't know, like over a day.
You shouldn't laugh.
But it was like, not while they were racing, but we had this downtime and I'm kind of looking and I'm kind of falling asleep. And I look out and I'm seeing like, what's that doing there? And then I kind of shake my head. I'm like, that's not there. Like, I should probably talk to somebody. But then like in the middle of the night, they're cooking off fireworks as the cars are on track and there's a Ferris wheel. And then you get, because you sit up, you're either outside or you're at the very, very top, like in the press room at Daytona International Speedway. So there's, again, picture pitch black and the spotlights, any bug that flies through looks like a light.
Oh yeah.
It's like without question, the most difficult event to try and spot for the teams.
And one last one. So a few weeks ago, hey, Mike Wallace he was planning on competing at the Daytona 500, but he didn't get his license for lack of seat time over the past few years. And I'm kind of like, wouldn't they have known this right from the get-go? What am I missing?
The team did the release before they had the authorization. What Mike said is he talked to NASCAR president Mike Helton, who was all in favor, but Mike's not the guy that issues the licenses. NASCAR is absolutely doing the right thing. Again, been pretty critical of this whole thing over, these guys who have never run the event or, in Mike's case, he's been out of a car for 10 years. He's 65 years old. You need to have a certain level of experience. Even our guys from NASCAR Canada can't just rent a car and get in. They have to go through a qualification process and they could be current drivers. We hit 160 miles an hour at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. That's not enough for NASCAR. There's a lot of guys who apply to run at these events, but because they don't have restrictor plate or tapered spacer experience, it's really tough to get approved. So, but again, I think NASCAR did the right thing here.
Colin, great stuff as always, buddy. Enjoy the weekend, get some sleep, and we'll talk to you next week.
Go on and watch the Chili Bowl.
There you go. That's Colin Livingston, the Racing Report, brought to you by Can Torque. We'll come back. We got Spec will be joining us a little bit later on. We got TR's Tales. I think he's back with us, and I think he'll be back afterwards. He had to do a quick little errand. And we also will go to Colorado. The Avs, just like the Oilers, playing very well. Over the last 10 games, they have identical 7-2-1 records. Since November 1st, the Oilers have the best record in the league. The Avs have the 4th best record in the league. They're both top 5 in goals. They're both top 10 in goals against. If this was just even, everybody had the same rest, to be a hell of a game. But then the Oilers travel, everything else, it's going to make it harder. Not impossible, just harder. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Booster Juice. Warm up with Booster Juice and their savory selection of grilled, fresh food options. Breakfast wraps, chicken wraps, grilled cheese, steak paninis, and more. Visit a Booster Juice today or download the Boosters Reward app.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game day once again. The Edmonton Oilers on the road down in Denver, taking on the Avalanche. Puck drop 7:30. Pre-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 6 o'clock right here on Sports 1440. It's a busy night. You also have the Kings, Canucks, Utah hosting the Rangers, Jets take on the Kraken, Montreal in Dallas, Preds up against the Canucks, the Flames travel to St. Louis, Islanders host the Flyers, Sharks in Columbus, Panthers taking on the Red Wings, Ducks meet the Lightning, Sens, Capitals, and the Devils in Toronto. In the association, it's a light night, only 5 games on the schedule. Should be a great one in OKC as the Thunder host the Cavs, tip off 5:30. Also, Pacers take on the Pistons, Wizards up against the Suns, Clippers in Portland, and the Kings hosting the Rockets. Toronto Argonauts announced today that they've given linebacker Cameron Judge a contract extension that runs through the 2026 season. Judge was acquired by the Argos from the Stamps last week. And sad news is longtime Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker passing away at the age of 90. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be back with Terry Ryan, also 5 questions, and we'll talk some Avalanche with Jesse Montano from Gorilla Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CKJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
We believe that great projects start from the ground up. Well, to be accurate, great projects start from the underground up. We're GS Construction, and from pipes to drainage systems, we're always laying the groundwork for a better future for Edmonton. While the month of January may be slow for some, GS Construction is gearing up for a busy year ahead, preparing to build, repair, and replace tons of infrastructure to keep your systems running smoothly. To find out more, including new job opportunities, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends. Swing by during the 2024 model clear-out and take advantage of January rebates of up to $9,000 or access finance rates as low as 0%. The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Cold, icy mornings, frozen windshield, snow in the forecast, and your vehicle won't start. You know what that means, Alberta. Winter is here. Don't get left out of the cold. Head to Napa Auto Parts today to gear up for the frosty months ahead. Winter won't wait, and neither should you. From premium batteries, starters, and alternators to high-quality wiper blades, antifreeze, and snow brushes, Napa Auto Parts has everything you need to get your vehicle winter ready and running. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store or visit NapaCanada.com for all your trusted parts, tools, equipment, and automotive needs. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Epcor. Stormwater ponds in Edmonton are designed to move water and runoff from streets and sidewalks, making them unsafe for winter activities. Instead, head to a community league or city rink that is safe for you, your family, and friends. Think twice and stay off the ice. Learn more at epcor.com/winter safety.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Do we have TR? Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game at Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. PlayAlberta.ca. Oilers in Denver tonight to take on the Avalanche. Then we'll wrap up this lengthy road trip. It's kind of like an 8-game road trip with one game mixed in between for the Oilers as they were at home. After 4 games on the road, home for 1, back out for 3. But then they will, after Vancouver, they are home for 6 straight games. Alex Ovechkin in the chase for Gretzky. Now, he's not going to break the record in Edmonton later this month, but still, that's a pretty big ticket. You got the Leafs on a Saturday night. You got the Canucks. You got the Red Wings, Buffalo, an afternoon game. So pretty good homestand for fans who'd like to go to the game. So should be good. So we welcome back in Terry Ryan and TR. We've talked a lot about, did you ever play in Denver?
Yeah, I did actually. And I played in Colorado Springs, which is even higher. I played a full year in Colorado Springs for the Gold Kings. I did play in Denver against, I practiced. I didn't play, but I remember distinctly being in Denver, against the Avalanche. But like I said, a full year in Colorado Springs. I know what it's like. We played at, oh God, I think it was the World Arena, it was called. And it's where a lot of the training took place, the whole facility for the Olympics because of the elevation.
Yeah. So when you played in college, did you get used to it? So if you're the home team, you get used to it?
Yeah, and it's really noticeable. Yeah, I remember going there I wonder if you're going to be able to notice this. Yes, you do. Well, it was magnified too because we had an Olympic size rink, which is rare in North American hockey, obviously. But it was huge. And almost, if you got hit, you were doing something wrong. There was so much room out there. And so, a lot of skating. And, it was the highest elevation in the continental United States. So it really did wonders for you. And I remember going to play in, like, San Diego and places like that and just feeling like I could just play the whole game. It was huge. Great training. I highly recommend it if you could ever get into that situation. And, if you're a runner or whatever, try it down there. It's worth your while.
That's what I was going to ask
or up there.
Was there benefits of training there and then playing there? And when you go to other places, like I look at Colorado, and so it's, its elevation is 5,280 feet. You go to Pittsburgh, it's like 800. Boston is 300. Like, so if you're the Abs players, when you go on the road, you must feel like, man, I'm breathing better.
That's the part there that a lot of people don't talk about. They all talk about going in there and playing against them. But when you go on the road, you got to, honestly, like, what do players do often after the game? What do you see them do? And you're riding the bike, you're doing things, you're getting your cardio going. Well, your cardio is just way better. You can do what everybody else is doing, but if you're just playing games just by default and practicing at that elevation, then when you go on the road, the odds are that your lungs are going to be a little better equipped. I remember running into so many people in Colorado, like, people that were like from, I don't know, all over Florida, wherever. And they came there because they were training for like maybe even a marathon or something. maybe they weren't world class. They just wanted to make themselves better for whatever they did. And there was all kinds, so many athletes I met in Colorado Springs, Denver, and the surrounding area that just were there strictly to try to get in a little bit better shape for whatever they were doing.
We do have a lot of people. Hey, boys, I'm a 45-year-old beer leaguer with wheels. My motto is bag on the shoulder ain't for the older.
Well,
I guess what? But it fits the motto of my bag has wheels because I don't. That's okay, right? Sure, I get it. But for the young lads, I understand. Now, I could see young goalies. Maybe they got a ton of equipment. That might be the exception. But we're getting goalie. Hey guys, I'm a goalie. At the age of 10, I carried my stuff. I don't think I was any stronger than any other 10-year-old 2 decades later. Carry your bag from Bob. Fair point. Fair point. So I could see it. I can definitely see that. Let's get to TR's Tales, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings right now. Whether you're looking for solar on your home or your business, they can help you out. actionelectrical.net. TR.
Well, thank you. So I am going to talk a little bit just about my experience there. I just went to, like I mentioned earlier, I went to see Seinfeld with my daughter. It was awesome. In Montreal just a few days ago. Now, this had nothing to do with what I was going to say, but side note, very, very surprised at how many McDavid jerseys, not Oilers, but McDavid specifically. Now, of course, he's the best player on the planet, but I kept thinking to myself, in the middle of the Oilers run in the 80s, the Habs won in 1986.
Yeah.
They went on a bit of a run. Waz first, I think it was his coming out party. I think it was his first NHL experience, wasn't it? And it was magical. But would you have seen like a lot of Gretzky jerseys in Montreal then? I'm not really sure that you would. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, there were a lot. Like there was more McDavid jerseys than any player. Now I was downtown. There was a few sports shop around, of course, dominated by Montreal Canadiens jerseys. Dominated. But I'm saying if you were to talk one player, that even like walking around the Eaton Center, and we were in French, English, we were old Montreal, and I just saw an awful lot of McDavid jerseys. So I don't know if that's rare. I don't know if, they came into the year thinking we're not even going to make the playoffs anyway. So it's easier to cheer for other players / teams. But anyway, I found that interesting. Now, the show itself, I know we're talking about hockey most on here, but I just figured it was worth pointing out. And sometimes I went with my daughter, of course, so she has a different worldview than I do, just by default. Things that, the context of the world around her is a lot different than it is to me, even though we're looking at the same thing. So we go to Seinfeld, who she loves. We've seen every episode. I mean, it's hard. If you just watch some Seinfeld, I don't care what any age you are, you're probably going to find at least some laughs, right? So Seinfeld and Shorzy are her favorite. She said she was so elated. She said, and Jarrett Kiso, plays Shorzy, took us. It was a present from him. Thanks again, Jarrett. But she said, I'm going to see Seinfeld with Shorzy. She said, that's like going to see Connor McDavid with Wayne Gretzky. I said, yeah, kind of. It's kind of like that. But what was great was that this is what I find unique about a comedy show. And not every comedian plays in the Bell Center, right? So Jim Gaffigan, who's a good comedian in his own right, great, really. And he put on a really good show. I thought Seinfeld put on a great show. But that was it. There was nothing else. There was no big pyrotechnics or no screen even, there's screen. That was it. There was nobody. There was a voice, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Gaffigan. That was it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Seinfeld. That's all the show. It was a microphone and these guys who came out together at the beginning, and then Jerry went off, and then he came out. And I found Seinfeld even made some jokes about phones, because I looked around. I said, no one's really got their phone out.
Yeah.
Right? Now, most things I go to at a stadium, an arena, right? Again, most comedy shows, even people don't realize, like, you could be a great comedian and you still don't really get to play those buildings, right? Look at a lot of Netflix specials. Look, these are the best around. A lot of them are playing auditoriums, right? A lot of them are playing arts and culture centers. Not a whole lot are playing the Bell Center, right? And sell out on top of that. So again, this is a unique thing to see a comedy show in that big of a setting. But, if you go to see a concert, say, I don't know, the last one I saw when Green Day in the summer, that's big one. and Smashing Pumpkins open. So you're kind of waiting for, the songs you like. Maybe they got a new album out and you're like, okay, you anticipate it. But to some degree, you know what's coming and you're waiting. You get your phone out. Oh, Basket Case or, 1979 or whatever it is. And you got your phone out. Equally, if you go to see your favorite sports team play, I'm not saying it's all about having your phone out, but it happens. And there is also a little different experience when you go to see a sports game or a sports match. If you've got any horse in the race at all, you probably got not a lot of anxiety, but there's an anxiety level. There's a different kind of, each form of entertainment is going to give you a different experience. But what I found about it is that I'm looking around, and for the better part of 2 hours, people didn't have their phones out, even though he joked about it. He said, it's going to be fine. He said, at some point, this is going to happen, and I don't want to be that guy slapping you on the wrist, so take it out if you want. And that no one really did, again, because it's comedy. It's a different context. So, and not only that, it's just quiet, silence. And I thought to myself, I'm like, this is a different kind of experience. And when you're that, and Jerry and Jim Gaffigan, for the most part, they don't curse. And that's, cursing and swearing is a tool. Look at Chris Rock. Now, I love Chris Rock. It's a totally different thing. That's part of his delivery. He's bouncing all over the stage. Chris Rock to me is like Will Ferrell. I almost start laughing before they speak. Like Will Ferrell in a skit or a movie. Like it could suck, but I know that he's going to be funny. And so I'm not saying that Rock uses it as a crutch. Some comedians do. He doesn't. But Jerry just relies on that just clean humor that everybody gets. He didn't seem like an old man yelling at the clouds. In fact, his takes on AI, which is completely relevant and new, phones, and you could be 14 or 40 or 80 and completely understand. I mean, this is a 70-year-old man. So I thought that was really interesting, how good those comedians were at gripping an entire stadium full of people without using their phones. And it wasn't like a courtesy or a respect thing. People were just into it. And all I can think, I'm like, the only building I can think of being in my life like that, again, I'm not religious, but kind of being in church as a kid or whatever. And even then I used to look forward to like the communion. I'm like, at some point we're going to at least have a bite to eat. I mean, we're going to get up, I guess, and have the body of Christ and wash it down with some red wine, the blood of Christ and all that. I mean, it's a ceremony, but you're not really entertained. You're just not fidgeting because you're being respectful. But this is a unique situation. I said, I'm in this. And she brought it up to me when we left. I didn't really think of it like that. She said, I've never been in a room that's just that big, that there's so many people and no one even thought to be on their phone, which is a commentary on comedians, those particular comedians. But, it's a nice way to get out and enjoy an evening. And so I guess what I'm saying a lot. But if you get a chance, it's a real nice night. Like, it's one thing to laugh, but if you've got anything going on in your life that creates a little bit of adversity or anxiety or depression or whatever it might be, I mean, I really do think that certain things are ultra therapeutic. And of course, laughing, you go, Terry, yeah, obviously. But it was just it was an extra level, and it was a little bit of context I didn't think about till talking to my daughter. So in this day and age, I think going to see if you can go see Seinfeld, I know he's coming out west soon. Please do. I got no reason to say that. It's not like I'm sponsoring him or anything. He's got all the money in the world. That's the other thing.
I've seen him live 3 times. I liked it every time. He's, as you mentioned, like some guys will swear and it's okay. Jerry, I find is very witty. He doesn't go into the gutter very often, because I think sometimes the gutter is easy to go into, and he doesn't. Yeah. That's what I like about him.
And he doesn't, exactly. And it was a nice, like, to have someone that's such a pillar of my whole comedic sense of humor, I guess, is kind of formed when you're like a teenager, some of that. And to see like my daughter and everybody else just kind of look at him in the same way. And for a man like that to stay relevant, like I said, I love the Beatles. You know that. Yeah. But McCartney's 80. I go to see him. He's not really relevant anymore. Right. Yeah. But Seinfeld was smart, snappy. And I just really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if it's coming out your way. Maybe take in a night of comedy with Gaffigan and Seinfeld. I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah. Well, hey, Gaffigan's pretty funny dude himself as well. But Jerry is one of the goats for sure. When we return, Well, Colorado Springs is where TR played that. Oh man, every time I think of Colorado Springs, I just think of the movie Cars. So it's fantastic. But the Colorado, the elevation, it's legit. I've had a few guys, Eddie Steele texting goes, man, even in Hamilton, you notice it from Edmonton. It's different just because it's about 1,500 feet higher there than it is in Edmonton and other places. And so you look at Colorado and to try to get in it early, a good start. And I was looking at Colorado and at home, man, they're pretty dominant. There's no question about it. So not as dominant though as they have been in recent years. So, I think their team's not as good, although lately they've been really good with Blackwood. And we'll talk about Blackwood and are his numbers reflective of the team or is he just being that good? We will find out next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Just when the weather is freezing your nosy, someone's got a new menu that's tasty and cozy. What? It's Booster Juice. Now you can warm up and chow down with a savory selection of grilled fresh favorites. Breakfast wraps, chicken wraps, grilled cheese, steak, and chicken paninis. Topped with melty cheese, creamy pesto, spicy chipotle, grilled fresh options made in-house, warm and delicious. Made daily with the finest ingredients. Cozy comfort food at Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesday. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m. Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tanks. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhauk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhauk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, plus 60-cent wings, and you can play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.427, Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley with you. Man, we are speeding right along on a lovely Thursday afternoon game day. Oilers taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, there is no shortage of star power on the ice tonight as 4 of the NHL's top 6 scorers, there's only 6 guys in the league who have 60 points, McKinnon, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Rantanen, all going head-to-head tonight. Should be great. Now, if the Avs are up by a goal and Edmonton pulls their goalie, don't be surprised if the Avs score an empty netter. Rantanen has 13 empty net points already. McKinnon has 12. The record all time is 14, which was set last year. Now, they pull the goalie more now than ever, so that plays a factor. But still, it's only ever happened 12 times in NHL history that a player's even had 10 empty net points in a season. These guys got 13 and 12 already. Crazy. Let's get to the oil report. Brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Stop in right now and you can lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid for 1.99% and save $4,500 only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Jesse Montano from Guerrilla Sports, beat reporter for the Avs, joins us. And Jess, I got to start with the acquisition on November 30th and Mackenzie Blackwood since coming over. Like, I think the Avs were hoping he'd be good, but my goodness, he hasn't allowed more than 2 goals in any game. He's got like a 1.63 goals against average, a .938 save percentage. Has he been that good, or has the team defense helped him be that good?
Hey, boys. Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Great. Always great chatting with you guys. A little bit of both. He has played that well. You know, a couple nights ago, the Avs had a game that they didn't really love, but they found a way to get 2 points against the Rangers because of Mackenzie Blackwood. He's been great, but he's allowed this team, it looks like, to play with a little bit more confidence, play a little bit more comfortable, relaxed, and play the style that they want to play. Early in the season, look, Alexander Georgiev was always a nice guy, great guy to deal with in the locker room. Just wasn't getting it done on the ice. It was leading to frustration. It was leading to the Avs playing in ways where you could tell they were trying to cover up for mistakes that they felt were coming soon. And so the play of Mackenzie Blackwood has been really, really good. It's allowed the Avs to maybe play a little bit more true to their identity. So a little bit of both, but Mackenzie Blackwood has been absolutely outstanding since arriving to Denver. And there have definitely been a couple games where he has been the reason they've come away with the result that is favorable to them.
We've seen a little bit more lately this year, Rantanen centering the second line away from McKinnon. Edmonton, Draisaitl, now he plays away from McDavid way more than Rantanen plays away from McKinnon. And they'll load him up at times. And I saw last game, they still played 3 minutes together, 5-on-5. But have they looked like Casey Middlestad? They thought maybe he was the answer. Is he not the answer? Is this just an experiment with Rantanen and McKinnon? What's happening with their top 2 center spots?
Yeah, in the last few years with the injury to Gabe Landeskog that he hasn't played since the cup clinching game in 2022. They have tried this a few times, and actually Mikko Rantanen has had some decent success as the second line center at times. But yeah, look, they brought in Casey Middlestat last year near the deadline. They give up Bowen Byram, and Casey was great for this Avs team even into the playoffs. It was his first time getting a taste of playoff hockey, and his game really kind of elevated the intensity, the physicality, all of that. He got off to a white hot start this year, And now we're going on about 8 weeks where we're kind of wondering what happened to that version of Casey Middlestat. His game has just kind of dropped off here. I know Jared Bednar has tried a few things, putting him with, kind of workhorse type players like Logan O'Connor, bottom six guys who churn their legs and play heavy on the wall and get in on the forecheck. And there's been a couple games where we've seen it's maybe worked. It's rubbed off on Casey Middlestat a bit. But no, you're spot on. The fact that they are trying Mikko at that 2C spot is really a reflection of a little bit of disappointment that we've seen from Casey Middlestat this year. They've tried Mikko there before. It's had some success, but he is a natural winger, and they definitely like to have him next to Nate on that top unit as much as they can.
Jesse, do you think we'll see much movement before the trade deadline? And if we do, what do you think is the number one need for the Avs?
Yeah, I think that they're gonna try to land another defenseman, preferably, for that bottom pair. They really like their top four. Sam Girard, Josh Manson play really well together when they're both healthy. But it's kind of been a little bit of a rotating cast of guys for that bottom unit there. Sam Malinsky really started the year off strong after a strong training camp, kind of getting his first full year of NHL, being an NHL pro, played in the American League last year, but he's hit that wall a little bit, right? He's a college player, American League player. And I think the schedule and the grind of the NHL season's caught up with him a bit. So I think that'll be the number one priority. And then I do think they'd like to get another middle six forward if the price is right. And, it might have to be a little bit of a money in, money out type thing. I think defense is a priority. And if there's a little bit of wiggle room left on that cap, I do think they might try to address, maybe a third line winger or something like that.
Jonathan Drouin must be frustrated. How's he doing?
Yeah, this has been a tough year for him, and especially because he, bet on himself a little bit in the offseason, taking the 1-year deal on the smaller money when coming off a career year last year. He probably could have gone and cashed in multi-year deal, maybe a little bit, bigger dollar figure, but he felt this is a good fit for him. And look, the games that he's been healthy and he's been great. He's been key for this Avalanche team, playing right around a point per game pace right now. But it's the fact that I believe tonight will be game 12 or maybe 13 for him. He just hasn't played a lot. And he even told us last week that the injury, it's still technically kind of bothering him a little bit. It's just that some days he wakes up and it feels really good. Other days he wakes up and not so much. So no, this has definitely been a frustrating year for him, and maybe even made worse by like what I said, when he's in the lineup, he's great. He's pacing to, even perform better than he did last year, but it's just about sticking in the lineup. So definitely been a frustrating year for him. And what started as what they thought was going to kind of be a day-to-day type injury has ended up lingering here into, the middle part of January.
Looking at their blue line as Jesse Montano joins us from Guerrilla Sports, a beat reporter for the Avs. Girard back in. Is he going to play tonight, him and Manson? And then is the third pair going to be DeHaan and Middleton, or is Malinsky in?
It'll be DeHaan, Middleton on that bottom pair. This will actually be Sam Malinsky's first healthy scratch of the season. And yes, Sam Girard is back in tonight. So he'll be on that second power play unit and then playing next to Josh Manson on that second pair behind Cale Makar and Devon Taves.
Okay. You look at the Avs top four, like since they won the cup, they haven't, they beat Winnipeg. Well, actually, they demolished Winnipeg last season, but they probably haven't went as deep as they would like. And with Taves, Makar, and Girard all in your top four, there's not a lot of size there. Do you think that's a concern in playoff time for the Avs?
It's hard to say because that top four is very similar to what they had a couple of years ago when they were able to win the cup. But part of the reason why they like Josh Manson so much is exactly what you're talking about, Jason. He's just a little different than what they've got in those other three guys within that top four. I also think it's a big part of the reason why we've seen Keaton Middleton stick after his call up about 5 weeks ago. He has been pretty much a regular. He's played in, I believe, 15 of 16 games. And they like the size, they like the physicality, and it's part of the reason why I do think that they will look for a defenseman for that bottom pairing. And I think it probably will be someone who's got a little bit more size, that maybe has a little bit more NHL experience than a Keaton Middleton. Calvin DeHaan has been fine for them this year, but I don't think it's maybe been exactly what they were hoping for. So I do think that getting a little bit more size while still, having a guy who can play off the rush and move the puck up ice like they like to do will be a focus. But no, I think it's part of the reason why Josh Manson is so important on that back end in the top four is because, to your point, Makar, Taves, Girard, Makar and Taves will play physical, but that's not their, that's not their brand. So to have a guy like Josh Manson to bring something a little bit different helps for them. And like I said, I'll stop just short of using the word concern, but I do think it's something that they will want to address before the deadline there in that the early part of March.
Now, see, because when they won the cup, Sam Girard wasn't healthy, right? And they
You are right. Yep.
Johnson guys, right? And that's where I just, like, when we look at all these teams who win and you just see skilled size, it's not a knock on Sam Girard, but the playoffs are just a different beast. And I just wonder if having all three of those guys, we'll see, maybe they'll do it again this year and then maybe they will change. But I wonder if, maybe Girard's in your third pair because you got some bigger size that might help you, right? That's something to look at. Now, what about Nichushkin? What's the update on his health?
Yeah, and this is another one that originally when he went out, we were told 7 days, maybe 10. Well, we're coming up on 3 weeks here now. He has been skating the last few days, but still in the non-contact jersey. Wasn't out there at morning skate again today. And it sounds like, he was going through his rehab process, got back on the ice last week, and they were kind of expecting it to be a quick ramp up. And it just did not, it didn't feel the way that he wanted it to, and in a way that the trainers were comfortable with, green lighting him to start taking contact, getting back into a game. And that is such an underrated hit for these guys. We talk so much with the Abs about McKinnon, Makar, Rantanen. Val Nichushkin is such a sneaky, elite player on this team and in that top six. Their record with versus without him is a little bit ridiculous. He's such a dominant player when he's going that they miss him a lot when he's not in the lineup. So another injury that they thought was going to be a week at most, and we're now, lingering into 3 weeks, potentially even pushing it a month.
Yeah. Well, and that's, hey, he's a big loss for your team. I don't think there's any debate on that.
He's one of the better two-way forwards in the league. And, he plays on the wall. So he's not probably ever going to be in that Selke conversation because he's not a center, but he is one of the more, just an absolute dog on the forecheck, just a menace defensively, great on the penalty kill. And when he gets up at top speed, I don't know about you guys, I wouldn't want to step in front of him, just kind of a mammoth of a guy. So when they're missing him, it definitely, you can see the effects on the ice.
TR?
I was wondering, speaking of all this injuries, any positive updates on Landeskog?
So it's funny you asked that because he's been taking part in morning skate at home. He's not going on the road, but he's been taking part in morning skate. And I asked Jared Bednar today, head coach for the Abs, if we were getting any closer to seeing him start to return to practice. And he said, I sure hope so. And then went into it a little bit more saying, look, he's making progress. He's moving forward. He's finally at a point where he's actually getting closer to that. For a long time, it was a lot of running in place, then a setback, then one step forward, 2 step backs. It sounds like it's been a while since we've had a setback. He's moving well. I tweeted out a video today from him at skate. He's moving faster than we've seen at any point over the last couple of years. He's a little bit more reactionary. He's not like sitting there having to go through like all right, make a cut with this leg, now stop, now back skate. He's out there running through drills and he's reacting to, passes, pucks being deflected, rebounds popping out to him. We saw him drop to one knee for a one-timer a couple days ago. So he's making hockey moves, but we haven't seen him take contact and we haven't seen him, start to really jump back into regular practices and ramp that up. But Jared Bednar did say today that maybe for the first time they are optimistic that is on the horizon. The big thing with him is all right, let's say Gabe works his way back into a game, which I do believe now more than ever he will. The real question here is, well, all right, what happens after he gets in that game? Do we go 2 weeks here and he says, hey, look, I just can't do this. It's too much stress on the knee. It's swelling. It's whatever. So I do believe that we will see Gabe Landeskog back in an NHL game at some point. The real question for me is how many games after that will we see Gabe Landeskog play in? And just how will the knee hold up? How will it respond? But he does. He looks better than ever. I have found out he is skating most days on his own at a separate facility here in Colorado. So he's trying to ramp it up as much as he can. I do think at this point in the season, you probably missed your window to get him back in the regular season, just given the amount of uncertainty around him, the cap hit, all of that stuff. So we'll see, but he's become a semi-regular participant in morning skates here.
Interesting. It will be. It's a story. People would love to see him come back, and I wonder if it's for his mental well-being, even if he's just like, you know what, I want to come back, and if even if I only play one game, and then hey, I can't do it. But then obviously that's a huge impact on the salary cap and everything else. So like, there's lots of implications here. Like if they want to activate him before the regular season, it's like, well, are you sure? Because if not, that's $7 million that they could use on another player.
Right. Because let's say you activate him, just for argument's sake, the week of the deadline, right there at the beginning of March. Well, he comes out and plays 3-4 games. Avs fans went through this with Peter Forsberg in the 2010s. Peter Forsberg tried to make his comeback, played a 3-game road trip, and then said, yeah, my feet can't do this. To your point, Jason, well, let's say you bring him back. Yeah, like I said, that week of the deadline, you go past the deadline, and suddenly it's, oh man, he can't hold up for consecutive games in a row. Well, now you've kind of used up that cap space. You had to make some moves in order for him to get back in, and now you don't have the player. So I do think likely that window has closed for him to get back into regular season games. And then I don't know if you're wanting to just throw him into the gauntlet that is the NHL playoffs. But we'll see. They're definitely in a tough spot. But I'm with you. I do think for his own mental well-being and all that, if he can grind his way back into even get into one NHL game, you'd feel great for him. And Gabe Landeskog is just such a great dude. If you guys have ever been able to chat with him, he's a total pro, always has time for the media. He's out there today. There was a couple of kids who were out watching morning skate. He takes the time, goes over, takes pucks to him, talking to him through the glass, signing stuff, all that. He's just, he's the exact type of person you don't want to see this kind of thing happen to.
Jesse, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight. There's a lot of potential for high-flying action with McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Rantanen all on the ice.
Yeah, these two teams are always fun to watch. Appreciate it, boys. Always got time for you guys. Hopefully we'll chat soon, eh?
You betcha. That's
See
Montano joining us from Guerrilla Sports beat reporter for the Avs. We'll come back with 5 questions. Gregor, Connor Halley, Terry Ryan with you. You can always text in your thoughts, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox.
Oodle noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
It's a new year, and The Brick is clearing out their old inventory. Friday to Monday, they're blowing out furniture for up to 70% off the original price. With in-stock items ready to go and additional unadvertised discounts, check out your nearest Brick location to find mattresses starting at $149, fabric beds starting at $199, gaming chairs starting at $119, and home decor and pillows from just $15, with more deals in every department. Plus, take 4 years to pay with no interest. Financing OAC. Exclusions apply. The Brick. Saving you more.
Picture this, a snowy morning, and you're staring at where your driveway used to be. Your neighbor's Toyota RAV4 with all-wheel drive cruises by unfazed, making winter look easy. You're thinking, that should be me. Yes, it should. It's time to upgrade your winter. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2025 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $95 weekly for 60 months at 6.69% with $3,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends. Swing by during the 2024 model clear-out and take advantage of January rebates of up to $9,000 or access finance rates as low as 0%. The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
A few years ago, I was doing okay, but the rising cost of living has made my credit card bills go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Times are tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you can rest easy. You're getting a great deal this January, so hurry in now. Finance the 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV ES with super all-wheel control from 0.99% APR OAC, or lease from $462 monthly with $36.88 down at only $89 a week for the next 24 months. Affordability has never been easier. Along with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty, offer ends January 31st. See Cross Mitsubishi in store for details. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Edmonton, get ready to step up your shoe game. The all-new Skechers store is opening its doors at West Edmonton Mall. Join us on January 17th for a grand opening celebration you won't want to miss. We're talking great savings, giveaways, and a special guest appearance. Hockey fans, meet the one and only Paul Biz Nasty Bizanet from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And for the first 1,000 customers, we've got a commemorative puck and performance water bottle. But wait, there's more. During our grand opening, enjoy 30% off all footwear and 50% off apparel. From performance shoes to stylish sneakers, we've got it all for the entire family. Your perfect pair of Skechers is waiting for you at West Edmonton Mall. Don't miss out on the biggest shoe event of the year. Skechers at West Edmonton Mall. Grand opening January 17th. Be there.
Listen.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.448. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on a lovely Thursday afternoon. TR, Terry Ryan, along with us as it's time for 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where their store-wide inventory clear out on this weekend. It's a new year, clearing out. How about this? Starts Friday. Mattresses starting at $149. Fabric beds at only $199. Gaming chairs at $119, and much, much more. Stop in at The Brick and thebrick.com this weekend.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1 for you tonight. What's going to happen? Prediction for the Oilers and Avalanche game, and who's going to get the first goal of the game?
I hear what you're saying, Jason. This would be a huge win. It's one of those, I hate to use the word schedule loss, but, I know exactly what you mean. You're like, you know what, like sometimes you throw a bone, and if you win this one, it's a bonus. But still watching, I can't, being an Oilers fan, fine, I can't bet against them because it ruins the game when I'm watching it. So I'm saying the game's going into OT. That's what I've got bet, but I do have Rantanen getting the first goal.
Well, yeah, suddenly the Oilers, after scoring first in 7 consecutive games, have now allowed the first goal in 4 consecutive games. So kind of a weird stretch, but good question. I see the Oilers losing. Sorry, Oilers fans. And I think I will go with Lehkonen to score. He always seems to score against the Oilers.
Question number 2. The top end talent in this game are ridiculous. So if we're ranking players on talent, 1 through 5 playing tonight, how would your list look?
Based on play this year right now?
Right now, yes.
Draisaitl is 1. McKinnon, McDavid, Rantanen, and Makar.
I got McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Makar, Rantanen.
All right. Question number 3. As you guys see it right now, which team do you think will be the busiest team at the trade deadline, whether it comes to buying or selling?
Oh, good. Go ahead, TR.
Well, busy for me, I don't know. I got the Rangers. They've been shooting their mouth off all year about getting rid of guys, this and that. It just seems like something's about to happen, and I don't think that's the whole ship's going to turn around and they end up winning. I don't know. So I see them as being busiest. I don't really know, but my money's in for them to be fairly busy.
It's a really good question because, you could have a seller be quite busy, and I'm gonna go with the Nashville Predators. I think Barry Trotz is very impatient. This has been a terrible season, and I think they're open for business, and there might be some bad decisions made. Like, think about the fact that they bought out Matt Duchene, and look what he's done since he's been bought. He's basically a point-a-game player for a division rival. So I'm going to go with the Preds.
All right. Question number 4 today. Sad news is legendary baseball announcer Bob Uecker passing away at the age of 90. One of the iconic voices, obviously, was fantastic in Major League 1, 2, I believe, and 3. When you think of the iconic voices in baseball, who is the first one that comes to mind for you?
Oh, Vin Scully, without question. To me, it's Vin Scully.
Yeah, and you know what? My favorite Vin Scully call is the Gibson home run in the 88 playoffs. It's one of my favorite highlights ever, and the fact that this guy, this legend, I mean, who's a bigger legend, Gibson or Scully? And he's calling the game. I think it's one of the most perfect moments in sports history. If there was an alien to come from here, not know what sports was, and you wanted to show them passion meets talent meets game call, that would be it. But I'm because you said that, I used to love watching Bob Costas do his game of the week in the 80s, and I didn't even realize he did other stuff. It was just, I thought Bob Costas was strictly baseball because of my upbringing and the lack of channels to watch. But anyway, so I really liked his input, and I still do. He's an articulate guy.
Final question for you guys today. Looking on this day, apparently the Golden Globes have fallen on January 16th quite a bit. So just going on dramas, you look at the list of the winners. There's some great films, but what would be your favorite?
Yeah, man, this is a tough one, and it's so subjective, and there's so many great ones. I had to look and see who actually won. I don't know, but there's a lot of time. Look, Rocky's right up there for me for a lot of reasons, and this might change next week, but I really, really did. It's hard for me to find a flaw in Saving Private Ryan, and, my grandfather was also in the same war that fought a pretty significant battle. I had lots of relatives there. Newfoundland became part of Confederation in 1949. And it was on the heels of the Second World War that, a lot of us went and sacrificed, as did a lot of people, but I just know that side of it because it's my own family. So I don't know. I had to pick something. Might be a little bit biased, but I'm going to go with Saving Private Ryan.
Man, there's a lot of good movies.
Oh, lots.
Like, God, like you just, some of the years, but then you just look at the winners, like Schindler's List and Forrest Gump, which is one of my favorites, Saving Private Ryan, as you mentioned, American Beauty, Gladiator, like, God, like what a run of great movies. But now I know Sean Brown, he texted me, he wanted me to put in a vote for his Brokeback Mountain from 2005. So Brown, we got you that one in, good for you. But which one I really liked, but I'm going 12 Years a Slave.
Great movie.
Like though, and historical stuff like that, like there are some atrocities that happen, and I think it's important to always, read books about it or see movies about it to remind you of like there's lots of great, amazing capabilities in the human race. And we see that all the time, but there's also lots of, great, negative capabilities. And, obviously racism and, 12 Years a Slave is like, it's hard to watch at times, no joke. But I like because you can't sugarcoat it. You got to show it how it was. And it was pretty awful. And there's lots of that. And so I'm going with that one.
Great
Con,
pick.
how about you?
Yeah, I would like you guys going through the list, just trying to find out, I guess, what would top the list. I think it's very cool that The Exorcist won in 1973 because everyone.
I didn't realize that. No, until I saw it.
Everyone would say great horror movie, but no, just great movie, obviously. For me, though, I got to go with Gladiator. Russell Crowe, one of the most badass, actors in a movie. I haven't seen the second one yet. Get there eventually, but yeah, for sure, Gladiator. 3 or 4 just amazing scenes in that one.
I'm telling you guys, there's a book I'm reading right now. It's called The Trader's Daughter. And it's basically, it's Roxana Spicer, who is an investigative journalist for many years. It's about her mother, who was born in Soviet Union during Lenin's time, was a combat soldier in the Red Army, endured 3 years of a Nazi captivity during World War II. And, her mom kept a lot of their secrets because she didn't want to tell her all the atrocities that she had to deal with. And so she does investigative journalists to kind of put the pieces together. And I'm telling you, like, there's lots, and I've read lots about, I never really read a lot of it. Like, the concentration camps solely for women. And there was one, there was lots of just Russians in there, and how Stalin, that if you became a Russian prisoner of war, he deemed you a traitor. And so prisoners of war who, when the war ended, they came back to Russia, they were put in jail again. Like, it's unbelievable stuff like that. Like when you look at some of these countries and the pain that they've had to endure, and how, if you look at generational pain, which is a real thing, and Indigenous have talked about it lots, and other people. And I think there's probably a lot of people listening. I'm telling you, The Traitor's Daughter, I'm not done it yet, so I can't tell you, but it is phenomenal. Like, it's one of those books, like, I get home and I'm like, ooh, I get to read my book again tonight. Like, it is awesome. I love learning stuff that I didn't know. Like, I knew some of the stuff, but there's so much I don't in here, and it's really well done. So if you're a book reader and you like nonfiction, I would highly recommend The Traitor's Daughter.
Jason, my favorite gift I got at Christmas was this this e-reader, Kobo.
Okay.
And I'm going to get that. You told me. I was looking for a book. I'm right at the end of I usually go for nonfiction, but I got a Michael Crichton, is it? Airframe. It's pretty good, but that'll be my next read.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Strutty and I, many years ago, we kind of joked about it once, but I would like to join. I'd like to make a book club for our listeners, and get a few people. You read the book, and then you go out. You have a beer or whatever, non-alcoholic. I don't care, and just talk, because there's some. I did it once with one of my friends, because I bought a lot of my buddies The Boy Crisis. It's such a good book. I highly recommend it. But then to go and talk about it is what I found almost more rewarding than the reading the book, because everybody has different things that will stand out in the book because of what our own experiences were, and then something relates to it. And so, still something I should look at getting into, because I've never really been part of a book club, and it has to be nonfiction. I shouldn't say has to be, but that's kind of what I'm interested in. But if somebody finds a really good fiction book, I'm sure I'd read it. But I kind of like the nonfiction stuff because it's real and I know what happened, and I find it very fascinating.
So I have one now. It's Michael Crichton. I think that's how you pronounce it. Airframe. It's historical nonfiction. Historical fiction. So there's a lot, like you learn a lot in it, but it's a made up story, kind of like the show Frontier I was in. All that happened, but Declan Harp and his cronies, that's kind of made up. But anyway, maybe we should do it. The other thing I love about book clubs or talking, when you talk about it, you remember it. I hate it. My biggest disappointment in all these great books I've read is like forgetting a lot of them.
Yeah.
If you never talk about them, they don't come up. You're not going to remember a lot of it, right?
Very true. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm game. If you guys, maybe me, you, Connor, and Struds, there's 4.
Oh yeah, could look into it. I like it.
Start something.
I'm a reader, man. I like it. It's fun. So it's great. The Traitor's Daughter, for anybody out there who, and if you kind of like war, like it talks a lot about the war and, in Russia, and obviously your mom, but guess what? She grew up in Saskatchewan. That's why people are wondering, well, what are you reading that about? Well, her mom, of course, came to Saskatchewan and lived there for the longest time. Ran her own store in super small town Saskatchewan. Netherhill, for anybody out there. Netherhill. I'd never heard of Netherhill, but very small little place. And she ran she learned how to cook when she was when that was kind of like her comfort zone type of thing. So there you go. TR, have yourself a wonderful weekend. And so because your birthday was on a Tuesday, are you celebrating tomorrow night with your friends on a Friday?
Normally, it wouldn't matter to me, but yeah, my friends wanted to. When I said I went out on Tuesday, just a couple of friends I really hadn't seen in a long time that were leaving town. It was it was more quiet than anything. But my, my every weekend buddies are taking me out, and we're going to tie one on Friday night, which is tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that.
Pace yourself, buddy. Pace yourself. Yeah, something tells me that TR will be singing karaoke on Friday night.
Well, I'm going to be singing with the band, my friend.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's it. I got my buddies Nick Earl and the Restless Hearts. They're going to play at Greensleeves. We haven't said anything, but they know that I'm coming. I know I'm coming. And when I walk in, I wink at stage, and the boys let me know how many songs. They just hold up a number. You're going to play in this many songs, Terry. It's
All
always
right.
a bit of fun. It's my house bar. And they're an unbelievable band. I always forget to say this, but Connor, thanks. Connor usually plays Beatles or Irish or Great Big, whatever it might be. Most times when I'm about to come on,
Yes.
you'll play a song that definitely suits me, but I always forget to say it. So I really, really appreciate that. You're an attentive guy, a smart guy, and a great producer.
Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for. So you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, my friend. Thank you,
There
boys.
you
It's been a great evening, and I'll talk to you guys again on Tuesday. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. See you guys again soon.
I bet you there's Terry Ryan. Shoresy comes out next Thursday. Woo! The off season of Shoresy. Some training. Now, is there going to be like a Holloway offer sheet? Probably not. But there'll be a little drama. I like it. TR singing. God help us. God help us all. Should be fun. Let's get to Connor Halley Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Booster Juice. Stop in right now. You know, hey, the Booster Juice are great. But have you tried any of their grilled breakfast, the paninis, the wraps? They're fantastic. Download it today. Booster Juice, or get the Booster Juice reward app.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Oilers in action once again, taking on the Colorado Avalanche down at the Ball Arena. Puck drop just after 7:30. Pre-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 6 o'clock here on Sports 1440. Also, the Kings and the Canucks. Utah hosting the Rangers. Kraken in Winnipeg. Montreal taking on the Stars. Blues host the Flames. Flyers in New York to meet the Islanders. The Lightning host the Ducks. Caps in Ottawa. And the Leafs up against the Devils in the association. Should be a great game tonight as the Cleveland Cavaliers in OKC to take on the Thunder. Tip off in that one, 5:30. Also, Pistons host the Pacers. The Suns in Washington. Trailblazers taking on the Clippers. And the Rockets in Sacramento. And a trade in the CFL or contract extension as the Argos giving linebacker Cameron Judge a deal that will keep him in the double blue through the 2026 season. Judge 30 joined the Argos last week in a trade from the Stampeders. And sad news is longtime Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away today at the age of 90. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and get you ready for Oilers Abs. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. With sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Do it, do it, do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Do it, do it, do it at Hughes Car Wash. Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Elevate your game with the Basketball Show, hosted by me, Paul Sir. Tune in Saturday mornings at 10 for expert insights, exclusive interviews, and the latest hoops action. It happens right here on Sports 1440.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Various parts of the city, depending on where you're at, it's snowing. The old squall season. So the winter squall has been around. So let us know. I know on the south side right now of E-Town, it is snowing. Is it snowing outside on the west end? I'm in the mall. I can't see. I can see in the mall. I can't see outside. So now I'm curious. 833-401-1440. Let us know. Snowing and blowing. That's what people are saying. So it's going to get pretty windy. I was looking at the forecast. No. Yeah, I'll say that the forecasters, all I know is I was really wrong in the last November prediction on San Jose, but I'm never nearly as wrong as like weather people. It's like have to be the best job ever. Like it never have to be. Oh, geez, it's going to be this today. And then it ends up like 10 degrees warmer. You're like, what? Stunning. Boys, straight up blizzard in St. Albert from Matt. Lots of blowing snow. Ed in the West End, turn your lights on, boys and girls. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for that. And it's very true. Let's get home safe. All of you want to watch the game tonight, Oilers and the Avs. You got 2 hours to get home. You got lots of time. Pace yourself. Serenity now. If you're in a car and you know what, someone doesn't have their lights on, roll the window down. Big thumbs up. Hey, let's get those lights on, boys and girls. Safer for everybody. Now, it is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And the Oilers, no surprise, are an underdog tonight in Colorado, which, hey, third game in 4 nights. There's lots of reasons why, but not a huge underdog, but still, if you like that, PlayAlberta.ca. Good luck. Let's now get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, wind, rain, snow, or sleet. I don't know if they're like the mailman, but hey, they work through it all at GS Construction. Mark Spector. Now, I don't know. I'm going to say no because we had a lot of texts wondering, hey, Gregor, do you think Spec has wheels on his hockey bag? I don't know. Spec, answer the question.
I'm ashamed to say that I do. Yes.
But that's it fits. It fits with our saying, Spec. If your bag has wheels, you don't.
Hey, buddy. You know what? This is a hard thing for me to admit here out in public. I haven't played other than out ODR. Yeah. I haven't put my gear on and played hockey since COVID.
Really?
All my hockey ended with COVID. Then they said, well, you can start playing, but you're not allowed to stay and have beers after. So I didn't go.
Yeah.
And I keep every winter I say, okay, I got to get my gear out. I'm going to play. And I haven't yet. I'm telling you, Jay. And I've been playing hockey like every one of us here since I was like 5 years old. And my plan is to play as a sort of retired guy, but I'll tell you what, I have not suited up for a game of full equipment hockey for a really long time, and I'm starting to worry about myself a little bit here. I got to admit it.
Well, you might have to get out there, buddy. You got to remember, hey, the longer you go, it's hard to get back in. So,
oh boy. Well, I'm actually out at the lake, and I can see the shed where my gear's been sitting for 5 years, and it's like 50-50 that there's a family of mice living in that bag right now.
Well, you know what? Geez, they might have softened up your gloves. That might help your hands. That might be a good thing. You never know.
Hey, man, you know what? It's at my age, it's not about being good. It's just about doing it. So,
Hey, you know, it's funny. So I had I met with Paul Collins. He just turned 75, and he's trying to organize like a plus 65-year-old league for guys who just want to play once or twice a week. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. And so he's talking to me about it. And I'm like, dude, if you get that go, if you're real serious about it, I will mention it. And we probably have lots of listeners. He'd be like, man, I'd be into that. Like play once or twice. You know, there's a few places he wants to go at. There's a restaurant like right by the arena, right there. Because, you know, as much of it is about playing, it's about the camaraderie and hanging out, right? Like when I played men's league,
50-50.
If the men's league was like, if you have a good room, you'll play. It doesn't matter how good your team is.
No.
If you have a good room, you'll play. Like, you know what? My buddy Dino Bravo as his nickname. He would be like, if there had to be a category of best dressing room guy you've ever played with, Dino Bravo's like, he would be at the top of the list. It was Dino was probably 15 years older than all of us. Right. And so we're young bucks, 22, 23. And you know, the guy's feet. So we thought he was a fossil. He might even be closer to 20 years older. But anyway, he was still in really good shape and he would play. But he was always like the first guy in the room. And he would set up in like a corner stall all the time. But the best part was like when we played on Fridays or Saturdays, Dino would set up like, in Major League, you see Serrano and he's got all his witchcraft stuff and everything.
Chicken bones.
Dino had like 4 different colognes and aftershave and everything set up for guys. And he always had beers. It was unreal. He was like the greatest teammate in the room, like always like super supportive of everybody. And if we'd go out, he'd always be like, hey guys, like, and he didn't care because, you know, he was married or had a girlfriend. So, but he would talk to all the girls for the younger guys. It was unbelievable. He's probably the greatest teammate ever that I had. And we had the Onion. We had some beauty guys. Hutch was our beer guy for the longest time and just took tons of abuse, but it's super fun. Like that's, to me, I could barely remember some of the games, the odd one, but I remember all the dressing room stuff in men's league, man. It was the best part of it.
That's absolutely for sure. The best part of beer league hockey is getting out with the boys. Do you remember who won the game? Do you remember how many goals you got scored or who got scored? None of that stuff, man. Yeah. You just remember the Dino Bravos of the world. So yes, I am missing it. I got to admit, and I'm not giving up yet, man. I'm coming back at some point.
Oh, you should. Like I do the odd game. You remember, like, you know, a big win. One time one of our guys got KO'd on a cheap shot across the ice. And there was a line brawl in men's league, but so you remember those ones. But there's a few other ones, but most of it is just the last you had. And you know, we played summer for a long time, man. That was the best. You come to the rink in shorts and sandals. You could sit outside in the parking lot BS for an hour and a half afterwards. It was awesome. Oh,
I'm morally opposed to summer hockey.
It was the best, but we played winter, but I'm telling you, the summer league was one of the most fun I ever had. I loved it because, you know, you play at 9:00 at night, but it doesn't feel late because you come outside and it's still light out. You're like, oh, this is unreal. So, and all our games in summer league spec, your games were at 6:30, 8:00, and the late one was 9:30. So it was really good times, actually. So that was the other reason I liked it.
No, you're not talking me into summer hockey. Like summer's for ball and golf. Winter's for hockey. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Never the twain shall meet.
Jason. Oh, never, right? Well,
never the twain shall meet.
There you go. Oilers tonight. Well, let's talk about last night's game. Well, you know, hey, they won. They came back. They're down 2-0. It's funny. So we're going into the game. The Oilers, for 32 games prior to last night, had averaged 2 penalties a game. They only took 64 penalties in 32 games, and then they took 3 in one period and didn't take any of the rest of the game. So the fact they took 3 in a period was stunning to me. Obviously, they gave up 2 to a power play without Kaprizov and Faber, so that's kind of odd. So, you know, they'll have to be better on the PK tonight. But they bounced back in that game. Let's start with a few things. Number one, the McD, he got away with a minor penalty, obviously, on Johansson.
Yeah, it's a minor penalty. Listen, 2 things. I had to look at that on the replay about 5, 6, 7 times to see where he flipped his elbow up and caught Johansson. So to tell a referee that you should have seen it in real time is completely unrealistic. The fact the referees missed that call is It's just this size of totally excusable. That's a tough, if guys never dove, well, that would be different.
Right.
But guys dive all the time. So I don't blame the referees one bit. I thought, okay, it's going to go to player safety. They're going to slow this thing down, watch it frame by frame, and there might be a fine. And even they decided, they looked at it today and they said, no, there's no fine here. So, maybe it's a bit of a tempest in the teapot here. Maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. I'm not dissing Johansson. He did not come back in the game.
No, he's on IR. He's got a concussion.
Yeah, he's got a concussion. So it's real. And I am surprised that they didn't at least find McDavid to put it on the record. But, it's out of character. He has no priors. He's never done that before. I don't know why he did it, but he did do it. And I thought there might be a fine today. Did you?
I didn't think there'd be a fine, actually, because it wasn't blatant. It was a contact for sure. But every elbowing penalty, Spec, when you think about it, is an elbow to the head. You don't get an elbowing penalty for elbowing the guy in the chest. You don't get an elbowing penalty. So every elbowing penalty is not a suspension. And so that's why, or a fine. So that's why I didn't think it was.
Yeah, you're right. You never got, I've never seen a penalty for elbowing a guy in the shoulder.
Yeah, it doesn't happen, right? So
You're right. I never thought about that.
And Calvin Pickard last night.
Uh-huh.
And he made that 2-on-0 save. Are you kidding me? That one was huge. And even the save right before McDavid's second goal, that was a monster save as well. Like, I know you'd look at the save percentage, 9-12. I thought Calvin Pickard had a pretty solid night.
It can't always be about numbers for goalies.
Yes.
It just can't. Sometimes you got, look at Grant Fuhrer, right? He'd get you, he'd let in 5, but they'd never let in the 6. And how many W's did he get letting in 4 and 5 goals? So forget numbers once in a while, everybody out there. Pickard was a perfect example of a guy who really, his team got down 2-0 and he really shut the door. He shut the door. There was that weird goal off the face-off that did get in. And what did he say? I thought it was a good quote, Pickard, after the game. He says, they got 3. He says, I know my guys are going to get to 4 or 5. He says, you got to just keep hitting the ball back over the net, is what he said, which I thought was a kind of a cool tennis term. But just keep playing hockey, keep him at 3. He's got a team in front of him that's pretty good at getting to 4. And you know what? Lay off your goalies, folks.
God, yeah. Goalies.
Lay off your goalies. He's a backup. If he was unbelievably great, he'd be a starter somewhere, right? He's a backup. Don't expect the guy to play like Henrik Lundqvist in his prime. He's Calvin Pickard. He's doing a pretty good job here. I don't know why people complain so much.
The Oilers tonight, we'll find out because they didn't skate, obviously, today. It's back-to-back. We'll find out in about an hour when Knobloch speaks the lineup. But I got to think Jeff Skinner's not going to sit out 4 in a row when it's a second half of back-to-back, 3 and 4 nights. Corey Perry, his age, everything else, 3 games and 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back. I could see that. Colorado's a little bit quicker team. I think Stetcher will come in for Josh Brown, who has been fine for fill-in guy. But I don't know about Derek Ryan. To me, I'm not taking Noah Philp out. I just called him up. I want to see the kid play.
So the lines that Gene Principe sent us internally at Sportsnet today, and there was no practice, but Gene does his best to, sniff around and figure the lines out. He's got a 4th line of Skinner on the left wing, Philp at center, and Perry on the right wing. So
it's Kapanen. Okay.
Got Kapanen and Ryan out. Now, speaking on behalf of Gene, there's probably let's see what happens. But Stetcher is supposedly in tonight. Brown is supposed to be out. And but you're dead right. You didn't call Noah Philp up to sit him in the press box. He's young. He can play. He's probably going to be great in a back-to-back because he probably just wants to get out and keep playing in the NHL. And he won 4 of his 5 draws last night. Apparently, I was talking to someone with the team today. Apparently, who was it that hit Emberson? Was it Jones? No, I can't remember. Somebody drilled Emberson, and Noah Philp tried to fight him a couple times, and Emberson told him, no, back off. You don't have to fight for me. Thanks, but you're okay. So the point I'm trying to make here is Noah Philp walks in your lineup last night. His defenseman gets drilled, and he wants to be a good teammate and get in a scrap. So you got to like that out of a young kid on your 4th line center, don't you?
Well, yeah. Well, hey, Noah Philp, you know what? To me, I find sometimes you get called up, you've got a short window. Noah Philp's not an idiot. everybody knows the Oilers are either going to solve the fourth line center with him or they're going to trade for someone. It's that simple.
Right.
And so it's like, I got to do everything in my power in my limited minutes to get noticed. And I think there's lots of players who don't understand that gamesmanship element of it. They're like, hey, I'm in the league. I'm just going to play my game. No, sometimes you got to get uncomfortable and do things that you're not necessarily. Now, Phil's fought before, so he's not that uncomfortable. But to me, it's do anything in your power to show the coach and get noticed. Something like, because it's hard to score, right? Like you're not going to get a ton of scoring chances. That'd be a bonus, right? Like deliver a hit, win faceoffs. He was 80%, 4 or 5. Great, right? I didn't see many defensive mistakes from him last night. And then, when you are a team that, he isn't the toughest team, let's be honest, right? And if I'm Noah Philp, I'm trying to be an initiator physicality. Like, because the Oilers will fight guys. Like Darnell Nurse will fight, Emberson will fight, Corey Perry will fight. If guys challenge them, they'll fight. But the Oilers haven't really been the initiator to get the other team uncomfortable. So I hope Philp does it. It would be great.
Yeah, no, there's like in the side of the game you just described, there is a wide open portfolio here on the Oilers lineup to come in and take, to earn some playing time if you could do all those things. No one's kidding anybody. This team's not that physical. There's no doubt about it. So, what you were saying about a young guy coming up, you might have been there that day. I remember it from Craig McTavish as the coach. And he went on one day about how, make me notice you. Bring something to the rink that I'm the coach. Bring something to the rink where I go, hey, man, we don't have anybody else doing that. So it's pretty simple. And I did hear a quote from Noah Philp, I believe it was yesterday morning at the morning skate, where he said, I'm going to take some chances. I'm going to do some stuff. I'm not coming up here to just blend in. And I'm paraphrasing him here, but I really thought as a young player, it was a bold thing to say that I'm going to be aggressive and I'm going to take the bull by the horns here. And basically what he's saying is, if it goes bad, it goes bad, but I'm not going to get sent down because I didn't do anything. And I admire that, right, from a young player.
Yeah, and that's what he's gonna have to do, right? And I think he's capable of it. Like there's a lot of tools in the toolbox, right? And then the other thing is when I watch Philp, it's like his decision making. It's a lot harder, I've noticed, on TV because it's they zone in and you have the small stuff. When you're in the rink, you can see other things at the camera because he moves away. Okay, where did he go here? Was he anticipating that isn't sometimes the camera? So it is a little bit better at times when you have the opportunity to watch it live, for sure. But getting on replays and watching other things, because I know that's what they're looking for. So check mark on the faceoffs. Now, he didn't go up against top guys, but I don't care. He won his faceoffs, 80%, 4 out of 5. Great start. And then his decision making, I didn't see any bad decisions. So that's 2, because I think those are the things. They know he can skate spec. They know he can, he can keep up to the play. He's physical. They know all that. And so I think those are the 2 things you look for. And man, if they can find their fourth line center internal, that's just a huge save, because now that's less assets you have to give up. Now you can maybe focus on something even bigger potentially in the trade market. It's a big advantage. No question. Now let's look ahead. Mark Spector joins us quickly to tonight's game, Spec. And I wrote it as a schedule loss. And when I say schedule, it's not scheduled because the Oilers, they travel 11,500 kilometers here in the last bit, Spec. Like, it's a lot of travel up and down flying. It does matter. It's third game in 4 nights. It's the second half of a back-to-back when they're coming from Minnesota to Denver. And we talked to TR. He played there. Landon Ferraro played there. And they're like, it's no joke, man. Like, it's a big difference when you get to that altitude early. And if Edmonton can find a way to sneak out a win, I don't care how ugly it is. I think it's a monumental time because Colorado was rested. They've been home since Sunday. They've only played 1 game, actually home since Saturday. So, this is just a tough scheduling game tonight for the Oilers. And, I'll be curious to see if they can gut one out.
Well, and it's the 7th game of this, what amounts to an 8-game road trip too.
Yeah.
Right. And to their credit, they've won 5 of the first 6, which is, pretty much just this side of unbelievable. So, if you can drag this sucker into OT and get a point out of this one tonight, you're dancing all the way to the plane for sure. It's not the kind of game that you expect to win, but I'll tell you, it's a pretty good team here. This is a really good team. I am very impressed with this last sort of month with the opponents, with the travel, just with the way they've handled everything. This team's winning a lot of games. What are they? Would we say they are 18-4-1 in their last 23?
No,
you know, best team in the league in the last 2 months. I'm with you. Tough win tonight. Tough one to think you're going to win tonight. But if anyone can do it, the team we've been watching is probably the one.
Yeah, for sure. Spec, enjoy the game. We will chat with you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
There you go. That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to more on the Edmonton Oilers. We got the oil report. We'll get to the lineup report. Lots of text flying in today, and very whiteout conditions in lots of different places. People texting us in from Spruce Grove and Villeneuve and St. Albert, Sherwood Park. It's white all over the place, so please turn your lights on. That means your rear lights. Drive safe. Get a little extra space. Let's hope everybody gets home safe and sound tonight. We'll return. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, and the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Know what awaits you on the road to come. But with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
It's a new year, and the Brick is clearing out their old inventory. Friday to Monday, they're blowing out furniture for up to 70% off the original price, with in-stock items ready to go and additional unadvertised discounts. Check out your nearest Brick location to find mattresses starting at $149, fabric beds starting at $199, gaming chairs starting at $119, and home decor and pillows from just $15, with more deals in every department. Plus, take 4 years to pay with no interest. Financing OAC. Exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
Some might like to play hide and seek or even that Where's Waldo game. But out of sight, out of mind is never something GS Construction ever says. Yes, what's underground might be out of sight for everyone, but it's never out of mind for GS Construction because it's not fun and games ensuring Edmonton's underground infrastructure works for you. We take our job very seriously. And even though we may look like we're pretending to be groundhogs, we're really keeping things running smoothly. To find out more, including new job opportunities, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Diablo Boots and Canada West, the two best names in work, biker, and western boots. Diablo has been selling quality Canadian boots for over 60 years, from size 6E to 15EE. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Redwing, and Dakota, when Diablo Boots has the best quality for less? Made in Winnipeg. Plus, all of Diablo Boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So save on boots by Save on Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save on Foods.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Go rider and lunch money. 3 Miami boys. You know what time it is.
Give me the green light.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's would like to say thank you to their pizza-loving customers. Take 40% off any pizza this week. Use code TY40 at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Walker and Paulson will be by for the pregame show coming up at the top of the hour. Find out officially what the lineup is, but sounds like Skinner is in. That doesn't surprise. No, Stu Skinner's in for sure, but Jeff Skinner, after missing 3 games, in. Kapanen could get the night off tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. And I would think Troy Stetcher will be coming in for Josh Brown on the back end, and away they go. The Avs will get Samuel Girard back in their lineup tonight. Has missed a few games. No Nichushkin. His back injury, originally I thought it was going to be a week. It's now up to 3 weeks. So anytime you got a back problem and it's extending, it's never good. A lot of texts flying in our UL inbox, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We got to. I got to get to this one from Corey. I think many of you agree. Hey guys, whenever we have a potential new player in our beer league team, we always ask who's ever vouching for him if he has a high DRP, which stands for dressing room presence. It's true. DRP. I like it because honestly, it's valid. Anybody who plays men's league, like that's one of the number one things. Hey, okay, he's a good player, whatever, but is he a good guy in the room? Like Johnny, show up, whatever it's going to be. You want if you got good guys in your team, it makes it much better, right? And a good guy in the room, and maybe just somebody who understands kind of the nuances of being a good teammate at the end of it, right? It's not you. It's a fine. You want guys who try, but do you want guys who try like too hard? I know that sounds crazy in men's league, but you know the guy. It's like, hey, dude, like the dream's over. Okay, there's no scout here. Like, try your best, go up and down all you want. But, you know, and all of a sudden he's going in there and he's like sticking guys and giving it, you know, all of a sudden he's elbowing someone in the chops because he wants to win the 10 o'clock game on a Tuesday. Right. So, and I will say this though, Cons, in my experience, and this is funny because I have lots of friends who are police officers, have ultimate respect for the job. But if you talk to anybody who plays in the beer league against the cops, they'll be like, man, they're the worst to play against. Dirty, cheap, aggressive all the time. So funny. I don't play against them anymore, but I still got buddies. I just listen. Hey guys, how's men's league going? Oh, I got a few younger coach guys I coach with that still play against them. And I always ask him, how's that? He goes, oh man, like stick work. It's unreal. So I don't know, like to be on the police team, do you have to be an aggressive player? Is that a requirement for the cops men's league team? I'm curious.
Ramp it up a little. So here's a story for you because the Duke was telling it on Fantasy Frenzy. And he was playing goalie, kind of got thrown in there, whatever.
What? The Duke plays goal?
3-0 on the season, just a shade under 900 save percentage. So he's okay, you know, for beer league, not bad. He's telling me that he was in a game this weekend. The opposing goalie took a bit of a late slash. So a couple of minutes later, one of their players came in totally late, slashed him, said, hey man, had to do it, sorry. And then post game, even came up to him again and said, sorry about that. You know, I had to do it.
You don't have to, what do you mean?
The code in beer league hockey, like
because, so the guy slashed like on his blocker or glove? Like where did he slash him at?
He got the Duke in the chest.
He slashed him in the chest?
Yeah, just a late shot in on him and then said he had to do it.
Oh my God. Did he get a penalty?
I don't think so, no.
Was it a love tap?
Well, we'd have to get the Duke's story on this one. But he was like,
we might have to get video here. It's like, did the Duke go down like he shot? Like, man, the Duke of Delburn better not be an embellisher.
No, I don't. He's a farm kid. I don't think he is. But I think his question was like, did you really have to? Did you have to, or did you want to? Did your goalie say you got to go get the revenge? But no, I don't think he'd be a flopper. He to me, or what he tells me, known as the grave digger. Because he buries guys.
I like this one. Hey, boys, the cops are always dirty. The firefighters, though, they're quite friendly, unless they're playing the cops from Brad. Oh, man. I love it when guys get fired up. It's class. Hey, boys, no joke. It was the same thing playing police and flag football. They weren't necessarily the most talented, but they were always big and strong, fit and physical, and played dirty from Buck 88. Well, yeah, they'd be in good shape, I would think. Yeah. Like, dude, you're doing that job? I don't know how you could be a successful out-of-shape police officer. I just don't could your partner trust you if you were out of shape? Like you're not, it's not like you're going into a men's league hockey game, right? Hey, geez, like Bob over there might stick me. You got my back? Yeah, I got your back. A little bit different, right? Walking into some house, you don't even know who's in there, right? That is like, I have the ultimate respect for that job, man. It would be so hard and the hardest part, I think, that job, and no different for firefighter, EMTs and those jobs and doctors and like some of the stuff that you have to see every day, like, no thanks. Like, not now. Hey, trust me, I grew up really good work ethic, I think, and you know what? Jobs have different levels of a degree of difficulty for certain different things. Like a mindless job can be very hard. Working on assembly line, that can be tough after a while, man. Not like take your life tough, but take your brain capacity tough. So there's different levels of being a teacher. Oh my God. Like dealing with the kids, sometimes dealing with their parents, probably. Ask any teacher, that might be the worst part of the job. So lots of different ones, but man, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, some of the stuff they see, I have the ultimate respect for them because that's a job that I think it's hard to not take home with you at times. It would be very, very difficult. So, hey boys, if the Oilers win tonight, would they be in first place? Not technically, no. If they are victorious, they would tie Vegas for points, but they'd have one extra game, so their points percentage would be slightly lower. So technically, at that point, Vegas still would be in first because they'd have the same points, but played one fewer game. Now, Vegas plays, I think, tomorrow and Saturday. So when the Oilers they're even in games today, win or lose tonight, whatever. Yeah, the Golden Knights are in Carolina tomorrow, one of only 2 games. And then on Saturday, they're in Chicago while the Oilers are in Vancouver. So, I don't know, depending on what happens. But Edmonton's closed the gap a little bit here. And as I said, if they can be in striking distance when you get to after Saturday, and so I guess worst case scenario now is they'd be 6 points back if they lose their next 2 and Vegas wins. So then they wouldn't have made any ground. They'd still be within 6. Not ideal. But you know what? If you're within 4, 3, 2, 1, then to me, it's game on for first place in the Pacific Division. Without question, it's game on, and that'll be huge for the Oilers because when I look at the standings and the wild card race and everything, there's no easy playoff opponent, but I think there are some that could be easier, especially if Vancouver doesn't get their sort themselves out. Because if you ask me if I got to play the Flames or the Blues, sign me up all day. I can avoid the Kings, the Golden Knights. Maybe the 4th team in the Central, whether it's Dallas, Colorado, or Minnesota, all day. Because Vancouver is the most talented of those 3 teams. There's no question. Now they got to stay healthy, and they got to play up to par. Hey, Greggs, have you seen the Jake DeBrusk online stalker? And yeah, you know what? I did see that story pop up. That is, I know some people make fun of it. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not good, man. This lady this has happened. This is going way back to when he was a member of Boston, and she's been banned from a few arenas. Like, it's a real big hypocrisy in society that you have a stalker, and if you're a guy, it's like, you have a stalker, it's funny, it's cute. No, it isn't. Okay? They're not mentally stable in a lot of cases. It's not good. And I can tell you from firsthand, because I had a situation that happened to me many years ago. At first, I thought it was a misunderstanding. I don't want to out the person because I might have some friends, but I had to go to the police. I actually got a big delivery when I did my show at Boston Pizza, Connor Halley. So this is what, earlier days, we're doing the show late at night. And so the first day there, so Kelly McClung was my friend, and she was she also ran all the marketing for BPs. And so when I showed up there was this huge basket, and I was like, well, that's really nice. Give me a basket. Like, are you kidding me? So I didn't really look at it. It had a big, lots of stuff on it. So the show's over and the show ends, and she's there. And I said, you didn't have to do that. She's like, what do you mean? I didn't do that. And I'm like, what? Well, what's in it? So we look, and I open it, and it is a bunch of stuff that's just, it's even like, it's hard. Like, there was like baby things. Like, this woman thought we were going to have kids. Like, it was unhealthy. And so I'm like, I don't know what. They're like, well, you probably got to take this. So I went to the police station right by my house, and I'm like, the next day, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Hey, this is what they told me. This is what showed up. And there's like some notes about, like, it just wasn't normal. And the police officer, when I'm talking to the guys, like chuckling, like, well, has she contacted you? And I'm like, well, no. Like, well, yes, as far as like emails and, left some phone messages at that time. Because that was way back when there were still the white pages, and my name was in the phone book. So I think that's how she got my home number. So the officer was kind of mocking me, saying like, I don't even know why you're here. And a friend of mine was a sergeant. So I don't know, it was like about a month later. And I'm telling him this, like, I know something about this. And I'm like, yeah, well, I had a stalker. And people kind of like, you guys don't take it serious. He's like, what are you talking about? And so I explained my story to him. I then he said, what? So I had to go back in there. The officer actually had to apologize to me. And, they put up a report to take it just in case something ever happened, right? There was a few other interactions. Said, hey, you please leave me alone, away you go. But yeah, so some people just, what? She'd been through a traumatic experience, recently prior to that. So I think that's had to do more about it than me. But so I don't think the DeBrusque thing, I know some people are texting, that's not funny, right? She's trying to follow him around. She gets banned from arenas. And she's posting about it, how frustrated she is that they won't let her buy tickets to go to the games, right? Because her name is on the list. The NHL knows about it. So, yeah, I wouldn't make light of it just because it's a woman against a man. And yeah, he's physically stronger, but that's still it's not good. And I'm sure there's people that hey, you see stalkers for women and it gets treated very serious, as it should. We should probably do it both ways. Just my thoughts. And I hope that it's not too much of a hassle for Jake DeBrusque, because that's no, people think it's funny that you have a stalker. I think unless you've gone through it, because the people, it's not just haha funny little notes. It can escalate and become a real big thing. And this has gone on for years, right? People can become unstable, and it's not good at all. So we're not going to mock. Well, first of all, we know Jake's a great guy. I don't care what team he plays for. It's irrelevant to me. It's you should not want that at all. So 5:42, we'll come back. We'll get you to the our educated guess on the Oilers lineup tonight. The Avs getting some players back, so are the Edmonton Oilers. Tell you about it when we return. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
At Pizza 73, we know that people get hungry. That's why we created our new XXL pizzas. They're larger than extra large. The big pepperoni pizza with 100 pieces of pepperoni. The big cheesy with over 1.5 pounds of cheese. These pies weigh over 4 pounds. Right now, build your own Big 3 Topper 18-inch XXL pizza for just $19.99. Limited time only. Pizza 73. Hunger happens.
Pizza 73. At Schwab Buick GMC, our boss is serious about cutting prices on vehicles like Sierras and Silverados. When?
Right Schwabbing now! Right Schwabbing now!
So when he sees the MSRP, he says,
that's not Schwabbing good enough!
He's always looking for more.
Dig the Schwab in!
Save with 0% financing or lease rates as low as 1.9% on 2024 half-ton trucks.
Right now!
At Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc. Right Schwabbing now!
Planning for your future. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns, or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your 2024 taxes, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. Don't wait. The deadline to qualify for 2024 tax deductions is March 3rd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Edmonton, get ready to step up your shoe game. The all-new Skechers store is opening its doors at West Edmonton Mall. Join us on January 17th for a grand opening celebration you won't want to miss. We're talking great savings, giveaways, and a special guest appearance. Hockey fans, meet the one and only Paul Biz Nasty Bizanet from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And for the first 1,000 customers, we've got a commemorative puck and performance water bottle. But wait, there's more. During our grand opening, enjoy 30% off all footwear and 50% off apparel. From performance shoes to stylish sneakers, we've got it all for the entire family. Your perfect pair of Skechers is waiting for you at West Edmonton Mall. Don't miss out on the biggest shoe event of the year. Skechers at West Edmonton Mall. Grand opening January 17th. Be there.
Papa John's would like to recognize all the amazing meat-savoring, veggie-loving, barbecue chicken craving, pepperoni-popping, crust-dipping customers with an extra large thank you. And to really show just how much they appreciate you, from January 13th to 19th, take 40% off any pizza at regular menu price. It's just their way of saying thanks for loving pizza as much as they do. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app and use promo code TY40. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.546 Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Hey, guys, sounds like Baby Reindeer. Well, the difference was, I don't know if I've never asked him. I don't even know if DeBrus knows this lady, right? Because in Baby Reindeer, wasn't that what the struggling comedian did one act of kindness to a vulnerable woman and it sparks like a suffocating obsession? And that's kind of how it starts for people. Like, you've seen stories, and usually it's after, like, people in the public eye and movie stars, and some of them are pretty, like, it's scary, dude. Like, they get restraining orders and it for a while, and then it comes back. It's kind of, it's kind of nuts. No question. So it's not good. Not good at all. Hey, guys, I know it's not a stalker situation, but what about Kane's ex-wife and the relentless? Yeah, that one's not healthy either. That's not a healthy situation for sure. But when you see someone's action like that, you can understand how Evander Kane, which is rare, got custody. For a man, it's a lot harder. And he did. Let's get to, we'll get off that topic. We'll get a little bit back to sports, but hey, sports and life, I know we just don't want to, it's not a fun thing to make a joke about a stalker. Like, I can't do it. Sorry. Too soon. I guess I'll say that. Too soon to want to make a joke about that, about Jake DeBrus. Now, let's get to the lineup report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. And they're hockey fans, helping hockey fans like you. You can, right now, say goodbye to the hassle of car service, and you can enjoy a free valet pickup and delivery. Oh, courtesy of Sherwood Ford right now. The Oilers lineup, we know Stu Skinner will start. He's has not allowed a goal in 2 of his last 3 starts. I can't say he's had 2 shutouts because technically one was a split shutout. But either way, 2 of his last 3 starts have been goose eggs for Skinner. Very good. He'll go up against the high-flying Avalanche. The Oilers, of course, will go up against Mackenzie Blackwood, and he's been stellar since being acquired from the San Jose Sharks. In his 12 starts, he's never allowed more than 2 goals. So Skinner's playing well. He's playing well. Could be a low-scoring game. Both of these teams since November 1st are top 10 in goals against per game. The Oilers 5th, the Avs 9th, but the Oilers are 1st in goals for. The Avs are 5th. So what's going to win tonight? Offense or defense? We'll see. And there's a lot of talent. McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, Rantanen, 4 of the 6 guys in the NHL currently with 6 points. The Avs lineup looks like it'll be McKinnon with Durant and Lehkonen. Rantanen will center Logan O'Connor and Joel Kiriventa. Parker Kelly with Parsonen and Colton. And then Casey Middlestad will be the 4th line center to start with Poland and Yuri Inala. Honestly, don't know those 2 4th line wingers very much in Colorado. Taves and Makar. Sammy Girard is back in the lineup. He'll play with Josh Manson. And then you've got DeHaan and Keaton Middleton, brother of Jake Middleton, who was not too happy with the non-call on Connor McDavid last night. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers lineup tonight. Now, we know the McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Arvidsson, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin are definitely their top 6. Now, will Draisaitl start the game with McDavid how he ended? and Nugent Hopkins in second line. If Rantanen and McKinnon are on separate lines, I think you're going to have McDavid and Draisaitl on separate lines. Henrique with Brown and Janmark. Fourth line could be Skinner, Philp, and Perry, or it could be Skinner, Philp, and Kapanen. We'll see. Kind of leaning towards Kapanen getting a night off. Bouchard, Ekholm. I think Stetcher's back in with Nurse and Emerson and Kulak, and of course Stuart Skinner will get the start in goal. It should be like the potential for this game to be great is there, right? Like, there's going to be some bursts from McKinnon. There's going to be some bursts from McDavid. Cons, what are you expecting tonight?
I mean, I'm curious because we always talk about, playing back-to-back nights, but for the Oilers, I feel like they're going to have their legs early on, and we'll see how the Avalanche kind of weather the storm here. But I expect a good effort from the Oilers going up against this high level of talented team. That's going to bring the best out of the Oilers' top-end talent, and they're going to have to be on their game because we've seen this from the Colorado Avalanche. You take your foot off the pedal for a little bit, they can make you pay, and they can make you pay quick. So I think it's going to be a fun game. I'm hoping for a lot of goals, hoping for a high-scoring game, one that Struddy would hate. I kind of think we're going to get that. I think it's going to be a fun one with the best players in the world really showing what they got here.
Ooh, you think we're going to see some offense tonight?
I'm taking the over. Yeah, absolutely. To go check what it's at Play Alberta, but it doesn't matter. I'm taking it.
Oh, you're taking it. I think it's 6.5 maybe.
Oh, let's go for it. Hammer it.
Yeah, it's 6. The line is 6.5 goals tonight for the Oilers and the Avs. Oof. God, you know me. If I never do it though, but if I had to, I might go under tonight with the way the goaltenders are playing and really the teams in general. But we'll see. All depends if one team get an early goal could change everything tonight. Oilers are looking to end a trend of trailing. 4 straight games they've trailed. Now they've won 3 of the 4, so that's good news. But that was after they scored first in 7 straight and 11 of 14. So even with it was 11 of 14. Now it's they've scored first in 11 of 18, which is still good, but they'd like to get up early if they could, especially on the road. I would think playing Chase in Denver in the altitude will not be ideal at all. So coming up next, Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson. They'll take you through right until puck drop tonight. It's the Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. Tomorrow we'll be live at the John Reed Memorial Tournament. So come say hi if you're out there at Service Place in St. Albert. A lot of scouts out there. We'll have lots of good guests, some live, some on the chat on the stream for Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. On behalf of Connor Halley and Declan Kruger, thanks everyone for joining. If you missed any parts of the show, go to jasongregor.com and get the individual interviews there, or just download us anywhere where you get your podcast. It's the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. You need your furnace fixed late at night or on the weekend, they'll come help you out. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Oilers in action tonight down in Denver, taking on the Avalanche. Puck drop just after 7:30. We've got pregame coverage coming up next with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson here on Sports 1440. Also, once the game wraps up, they'll be back for postgame. Busy night in the NHL. The following games are at the first intermission. Devils lead the Leafs 1-0. Caps and Sens are scoreless. The Lightning and Ducks tied at 1 apiece, as are the Panthers and Red Wings. And the Jackets up on the Sharks 2-0. Midway through the first, Islanders and Flyers are scoreless. Later tonight, Blues host the Flames. Chicago taking on Nashville. Stars host the Canadiens. Kraken head to Winnipeg. Utah up against the Rangers. And the Kings meeting the Vancouver Canucks. On the hard court right now, second quarter, Pistons trail the Pacers 47-41. The Suns have a 53-40 lead over the Wizards, and it's early, but the Thunder up on the Cavs 16-12. SGA leading the way for OKC with 8 points. Later tonight, the Trailblazers hosting the Clippers and the Rockets in Sacramento. In the CFL today, we had a contract extension as the Argos have signed linebacker Cameron Judge to an extension that'll keep him in the double blue through the 2026 season. And sad news is longtime Milwaukee Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away today at the age of 90. Coming up next on Sports 1440, we've got the pregame show with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the